everybody? Welcome to this live stream, completely, almost haphazardly planned, as all things in my life right now are. I'm going to turn that music down, and away you go. There you go, it's off. Welcome to my new studio, my new little setup. I've got everything kind of... I apologize right up front. I am really tired. Really tired. I did set up a streaming test today, and my friend Joe was supposed to help, but he got sick, so he couldn't help me, so I did it all by myself, and I am beat tired. Besides the fact that I am just tired generally because I've been doing a lot of stuff. Welcome Daniel Saldivar from San Antonio, London Sound Factory, Simplified Filming, David Brown, Wrench Mine. How you guys doing? Welcome to this inauspicious, slightly inauspicious, I don't know what that word, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you guys see technical problems. This is kind of a spur of the moment. I set all this stuff up behind. Yes, this is an LED wall like the Mandalorian. I guess Mandalorian gave me the idea to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but you did a screen test. I'm doing a screen test right now. I set up the stream on this computer, which I rebuilt. This is my old editing computer that's streaming this. I rebuilt this after having issues with it. Still kind of having issues with it. It's still a little rocky. I'm still a little bit nervous about it. But I did do a live stream test today at a school district for their school board meetings, and I brought it back here, and I just totally got it set up. So he's saying the sound sounds distorted. Let's take a look. See. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm getting a little feedback here in the studio, but let's take a look. See if I can't hear anything, so I'm sorry. You're gonna have to kind of bear with it. Let me just pull it up a little bit. Yeah, getting some feedback, which is weird. Hopefully the audio kind of. Maybe I'll move the mic a little further away from me because I talk loud. And then it gets loud. So hopefully that will clear it up. Let's see. Where is my Vmix social stuff? There we go. What's the rent like with a view like that? Surprisingly inexpensive. I can change it to whenever I want. Roy Bixby says it sounds okay to you. Well, good. Like, yeah, it's the central TV's flickering. Maybe it's a shutter speed thing that I gotta do. I may have to adjust the shutter speed. I'm shooting 1/48th on the cameras. I should set it to 1/60th so they match. So maybe that's why it's flickering. Although it looks, I can't tell from my Vmix. I'm running it through Vmix, and it through the Blackmagic Decklink card into Vmix. So yeah, there might be some flicker. I just haven't. There's 60 back there, so I'm doing 48, so there might be an issue. So I gotta do that. No flicker, says Bob Greaves, living with wisdom. I can also do this. I can actually put this on you. I can pop it up there. Boom! Look at that. Boom shakalaka. See, like half the time I think that people are complaining. What is that? Did that get stuck halfway? Holy moly. What's that about? Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on with this computer. I may end up buying a new computer. I don't know. Send. Let's see. Sharif says that the squaring a bit, but sounds like the gain is going on. I don't think so. I don't think we're like peaking or anything. Not quite sure. Oh, super cartoonist. You shouldn't be using our logo for your icon. Fair warning, don't do that. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I haven't checked out. I can't even see it from here. I thought you were using my logo. Never mind. Don't worry about that. Daniel Salazar says, I can change the background on command. You betcha. In fact, I'm still getting used to this setup. I'm going to probably add another screen because I have one big giant screen I'm looking at. And, man, this thing is just not... I don't know. Something's up with this thing. Let's see. Anyhow. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing, dude. Yeah, something's going on with this Vmix social stuff. It's not putting the comments in properly. There it goes. Now it's starting to come up. Yeah, so it's back on command. See, there we go. And I will probably be doing some sort of like motion backgrounds if I ever get around to doing it. I don't know what's this Vmix social tonight is just being weird. Everything's being weird. My life is weird. It's a chaos. It's constant, nonstop chaos, and I probably bring it upon myself too. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. You're saying that the PC is struggling, is dropping frames when they run animations, robotic sounds with it, and syncs issues immediately after. There's something weird about it. I don't know. I don't know. I've got a month before I got a really full-on stream with this district, and I might just end up buying something new because this is getting annoying. Is it gonna go away? Go away. Go away. Now it won't even go away. I don't know, dude. Here, now it's working. Now it's working fine. I don't know. Okay. So what are we talking about? I don't know. I'm tired as hell. Let's see. So it's a cross between Miami Vice and Johnny Carson. I don't know. Maybe I just need to just break down and buy a new computer and strip this one of all the parts. So this is actually LA. This is LA in the evening. I didn't shoot this. I got this from adobestock.com. Stock.adobe.com. I kind of like Adobe Stock because it's relatively inexpensive, and I've got like 101 assets I can buy for now. So I've put in like $10 a month every month for the last like 5 years. And my hotkeys not working. There it goes. There my hotkeys working. Okay. Well, it's not done. My new set's not quite done. I was thinking about putting. Yeah, this thing's just struggling really hard with these titles. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going on with that. I may have to. Well, I'm going to put some of these little. I have these old wall sconces that I used to have on the old set. I'll probably put one on each side of me. And then I shrunk the whole thing down, so the set was like a lot wider than it used to be. But then you never saw that because I never used the whole wide set. And so I what do you call it? I just cut it down. I cut it down. So there's two purposes of why I reduced my set. Basically, because I wasn't using the whole space, and secondly, now these walls that are on both sides of it you can't see. I mean, I'll show. Okay, all right. What the heck? I will show you. I'll jump behind the camera and then do a quick little pan left and right, and then you can see what it looks like. All right? Here we go. All right, behind the camera now. Panning over. All right, there you go. Quick shot. There, so you saw a pan there. Yeah, so that's a quick set. Take a look at the set there. Yeah, so it's smaller than what it used to be. It looks big because I got a big, I got a wider lens on there. That's what the ladies say. It looks bigger than I thought it would be. Yeah, go in there. So I redid. I basically, it was a lot longer, and I was it had more of a late night show feel, but we weren't using it for that purpose at all, and it was just taking space. So these walls now basically act as kind of storage behind them. So now they've got like way why interlaced hardware limitation. I don't have it interlaced on. I wonder, is it interlaced on? I shouldn't be interlaced at all. Yeah, the thing I like with my stream is because I'm filmmaker IQ. All the people come on there and like nitpick every little goddamn detail. Like shut the F up, man. It's not interlaced. It might be, I mean, unless it's interlaced through the SDI cable, which I doubt it. It's like annoying. All right, let's take a look. See. Well, I can't check it unless I close it. I'm not gonna close it right now. But yeah, I don't know. You say it's interlaced. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Fred. Stop. I think you're full of shit. It might be a little stuttery because it's sending 24 through SDI. So I guess maybe it's like a PSF thing that's going through. But yeah, it's not interlaced. I don't think I have a. I think this camera is even capable of interlace. I think it is capable of interlace, but it's not shooting interlaced. So yeah, it's not interlaced. It's probably some stutteriness or something going on. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. But it's like, yeah, because I'm Filmmaker IQ, y'all gonna go on there and just complain about every little stupid little detail. Oh, I hear a buzz. And then what I always get is people that say, I hear a 62.5 hertz buzz. It's like, no, you don't. You might hear a buzz, but you know, it's not 62.2 hertz. Let's see. LOL, don't go F myself, man. Generally asking like old school feel. No, it's not. Super cartoonist. I'm looking at Vmix Social. So this is the icon I'm getting on Vmix Social is this. For some reason it's going to my icon, which is bizarre. I know you're not having. I don't think you have my icon on there, so it's weird. I don't know, and I don't care right now. I'm just like, things are just not working quite right. And my neighbor just got back, and they are unloading, I guess, a bunch of gear, which is wonderful. Wonderful, my God. All right, let's ask some questions. Answer some questions. We'll talk about some questions. All right. How did cinematographers light a scene back in the days without a light meter? I think they always had a light meter, though. That's the thing. Like, you always had a light meter, even back in the really, really old days. At least in the days of professional filmmaking, they've always had some sort of light meter. Otherwise, I mean, if you really, you could probably figure out some sort of. I wonder, yeah, like if you're going back like 1890s, I wonder what the very first concepts of exposure. I don't know, but like as far as like Hollywood studio films, they've always had light meters. And sometimes I've found the need to go back into Vmix and make sure that NVIDIA cores are in use. Okay, thank you, Bob. That might be the issue. Yeah, I wonder, because I just set up Vmix. A couple days ago, so or maybe a day ago. So, and it's performance. Let's see, in use the 660 Ti. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the. Maybe it has something to do with the way I'm capturing. Is that thing frozen? Is that like a? Is that graphic frozen on my screen? Let's take a look. See, it is. Well, shiver me timbers, man. What is going on with this thing? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that graphic was frozen on screen. How annoying is that? That's so annoying. Well, anyhow, I'm Filmmaker IQ. I should be better. Like, no, I'm just whatever. Look, like if you tried to set this up yourself and then you're trying to stream and you're tired as hell, just do it. Just put it out there. Don't be frightened. Yeah, the capture. Okay, so the captioning is triggering the problem. Yeah, so that's probably what's going on. So I bet this Vmix Social thing is like being naughty boy. Let's see if I can turn off the trigger overlay, and if I just go ahead and apply these overlays and then do it like manually, send, and then go like that, it kind of works. I mean, it's still a little thing. Like, this is such a professionally made stream. Yeah, I know. I'd like to see you try to do better. Seriously. All right. Yeah, so what's going on? Well, my mom had surgery last week, so I had to deal with that. She's doing well, actually. The surgery did well for her. She took out some part of her thyroid that was causing her trouble swallowing. So that's good. And then we got the COVID vaccine for her. So good news all around. If you actually look at, I know you all guys are wondering about what is John's take on the COVID and stats. They're very, very good. I'm very excited about how if you look at the curve, at least for California, the COVID cases, it goes up like this, real steep, and then that's about October, November, September, the winter months, and then now we're right about there. So it's like trajectorying down very quickly. Good news. No one will ever tell you the good news. That's the problem I have. No one will tell you the good news. And then my people are getting vaccinated, so that's good. And that is it. I'm not peaking. I know my audio is not peaking. It might be something to do with the stream, the way the stream is sending the signal, or something's going on. But I know for sure I'm not like peaking. Let me just turn my audio back on. Nope, definitely not peaking. Unless there's something going with the stream. I don't know, but I'm not peaking. I'm not. How am I related to Jared Hess? I am Jared Hess. John Hess is just my nickname. I didn't want to be associated with Napoleon Dynamite for the rest of my life, so that's why I I do these things. Fred, stop. Just listen. Okay. All right. Yeah, don't worry about that. No, I mean, we'll figure this out. It's just, I am just going to hang out here for a bit. But what's annoying too is, like, I realize you guys have to be really specific in your language, because I'm not peaking. I know I'm not peaking because I'm looking at the bars right here, and we're nowhere even near peaking. So now I might be distorting. There's a difference. So if you're telling me I'm peaking, I'm saying, no, you're wrong. You're full of shit. I'm not peaking. I might be distorting. That's a different story. And I can address that issue. But don't say I'm peaking, because I'm not peaking. I'm kind of thin ice right now. Just annoying. London Sound Factory. So now London Sound Factory says, dude, I sound regular and usual. So, you know, I'm talking now. You're like, yeah, I do sound regular. Am I distorting? That's a question. I might agree with that. I might be distorting. That might be a difference. I think my wall's broken. Okay, sure. It's got some windows. Operation Baboon says, oh, here we go. Here's an answer to the question. And I can actually put this up. I got to do two steps to do this. This is crazy. Oh, and I can't even read it. Okay. I got to figure something better out. This is not going to work. But for now, we'll work with it. The earliest type of light meters were called extinction meters and contained a number of lettered rows of neutral density filters of increasing density and came out at the start of the 20th century. Interesting. I got a list over there on my blackboard of all the topics that I want to do next year, or this year, and that would be a cool topic, extinction meters. I have to look into that. How did you do light meters before there were electronics? But I mean, the fact of the matter is, electronic light meters are pretty old. They go back pretty far. I like this comment. Oh, my thing is, this thing's frozen as hell, man. I wonder if this is just Vmix's issue, not just in general, Vmix issue. You're peaking as in without the A. Get it? Okay, maybe that's what was going on. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really there. Simplified filming. You know what? I'm just gonna, let's see if I can just leave it up. Let's see if that works. Wait, you directed Napoleon Dynamite? No, I didn't. I'm just joking, because my name is Hess, and the guy that directed it is Jared Hess. He's not. I'm not in any way related to him. I kind of wish I was. Hey, David Simmons. Let's see if that works. Oh man, that thing's not working. It's not working. Oh well. I'm just gonna reply to your guys' comments without putting them up. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting called. Let me guess. I'll call him back if it's not a spam call. Are you guys getting like a lot of spam calls in your life? It's just insane. All right. Well, I'm just gonna ignore the Vmix social. We're gonna figure out Vmix social another day, because that thing is just like totally distorting everything. It's just ruining the experience, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. Okay. Bob Graves, living wisdom. Streaming and filming are two different technologies. Amen. And streaming makes me nervous still. Like filming, I don't get nervous at all when I go to a film shoot or commercial shoot or whatever. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't scare me. Streaming gets my blood pressure up. Totally. It's really, really scary to me. Thank you, Sharif, about the set and the backdrops. See, I'm not flickering. People keep saying I'm flickering. I don't see any flicker at all. Okay, Operation Baboon continues on with the topic of extinction meters. Without power, it's a celluloid sheet like a density filter. Each has a certain amount of light that can let through, so checking makes marks inside the meter based on how much light comes through, simplified. Okay. Scott Lehman's looking into deep dive into light meters, looking for more information. Now, just remember, like light meters. I mean, stepping forward in time, not from the very, very beginning of filmmaking, light meters are the same thing as a video camera. It's the same exact concept. Only instead of having, on a pixel array, it's really just one pixel. That's one photosensitive diode, and you just expose that photosensitive diode to light, and then you can figure out, okay, well, how much energy are you getting out of this little thing? You can actually measure it, and that technology is not new. That's pretty darn old. In fact, that goes back. I think I would say at least the 20s or 30s. You probably had electronic light meters. I would say somewhere in there. Simplified Filming asks, "What was my favorite movie of 2020?" I don't know. I kind of fell off the bandwagon for movies in 2020 because there weren't any. There were no movies in 2020. It feels like March. I mean, Tenet came out. I saw Tenet in the middle of the pandemic, and then nothing after that. So I don't know if there's even a favorite, because I don't even count it as a year. It's so depressing. No, I don't think I saw it. Super Cartoons. I don't see your last comment. I mean, I tried to read the comments, but I can't all check them out. Steph says no flickering here. Ray Bixby, the skyline background is too good. A simpler background image would be more believable. I love how if when you do your own show, you can pick whatever background you goddamn want it. Right now, I like this background. It's too complex. It's too complex. I don't give a shit what you think. I don't care. Save your criticism for your own damn show. Super Cartoons, I prefer global shutter cams. Whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. Global shutter cams. Just whatever. Just enough. The thing is, you don't know the difference. I prefer. No, you don't. Derek Roberts, comments go too fast in the live stream. For me, they aren't too fast, because I don't have that many people on my stream. I am salty tonight. Yes, I am, because I'm sick of people who are just complaining about things, and it's like, you guys, shut up. Just shut up. Super Cartoonist, are you mad at me? No, I'm just tired of that attitude. Like, I prefer cameras that have this. I prefer cameras that have. No, you don't, because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't think this is a global shutter camera that I'm shooting now, and I love this camera. Like, it has a little bit of the tilt to it, and like, so does the Arri Alexa. Like, half of those there's so few global shutter cameras out there. They're not even a thing. I mean, they're a thing. That there are a couple of them that are advertised as global shutter, but like, literally, it's like the smallest issue in all of one of the smallest issues of all of filmmaking. And people that are like really hardcore nerd folks, geeky folks that are spec intense, like incredibly spec intense, that only people like that care about it, and they don't actually make stuff. So that's annoying. JK, flickering a bit. I think it's a YouTube TV artifact. I think the flickering might be because of the alternating frame rate and the refresh rate. I think is what's going on. So if I switch it to 60, I think if I switch it to like 60, 60th shutter, it might take it away. But then I have to jump behind the camera, and I wouldn't be here. So I'm just tired, man. Derek Roberts says his butt hurts. I'm sure it does. Hey, Midwestern Documentary Center. Just tuning in, John. So good to hear your voice. Thank you. Well, good to hear you. Super Crazy, you saw interlacing when you waved my hand. Let's see. I don't think that's interlacing. That's some sort of, I don't know what, is it interlacing? No, I don't think it's interlacing. It's something else. I don't know what's going on. Do you want me to jump behind the camera? Yeah, that's not interlacing. Again, like you got to be specific in your terminology. That's not interlacing. That's some sort of weird distortion. That's not interlacing. Like I can tell you what interlacing is. Yeah, that's weird. Don't do that. All right, shall we do it? Shall we jump behind the camera and switch it over? All right, let's do it. Why not? And hopefully I'm back. Let's see. All right. Maybe that's... I don't know. Now the thing, I don't know if it's going weird or not. Oh, well, whatever. I'm going to leave it at that now. Lex Pix asks, what camera am I using to shoot my live stream? Right now, I'm just using the C200. Hook up to a Blackmagic deck link through SDI. Now we're shooting at 29.97 to match the 29.97 that YouTube, seems the YouTube only takes 29 or probably higher, 60 probably. There's some crackle. It's probably something going on with, probably something in terms of like the way the audio is being, like, I don't know. I may just need to buy a new computer because I'm trying to get this old computer rebuilt and to do streaming, and it's just fighting me every which way. Like there seems to be okay, and then there might be some. So it might be a cable interference issue. Maybe you're saying that. That could be a possibility because the cable I have, it's the one I have at the office. It's a little bit iffy. So I don't know if I want to use it or not. I might just have to get a new cable. Are you hearing static now? Is it going? This thing is just going crazy today, isn't it? This is annoying. Oh, Hugo, just want to thank you for all the videos. Truly educational, entertaining, inspiring. Thank you. Sounds like vinyl. Is it? Let me turn the audio back up. So I got my audio turned all the way down off, so I'm not. So let's see. Oh, there's a little bit of a click. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's annoying. Like people are saying it is peaking. That's not peaking. That's not peaking. It's a crackle. There we go. It is a crackle. I think that's probably a cable issue. That is probably a cable issue. So sorry guys, you're gonna have to live with it for this. Well, unless I change out the cable, but I gotta just anyhow. Super Cartoonist, I don't hate you. That's why you're still here. If I hated you, you'd be gone. Maybe rats biting your cable. Check if there's a rat in the studio. Yeah. What it also is I have these cables. I thought it was a good idea to put them on reels and then like reel them up. But the problem is like the one in the reel, which I had going through the axle, it'd get twisted, and it gets twisted as you reel it. So it's like super twisted. So I bet you it's probably what the issue is. It's that cable itself. So I don't know. If you guys have ideas for like how to store long lengths of cable, put them in the comments. So yeah, 96 hertz to 48 hertz can cause the crack. Not in this situation. Not sure if its cracklings are pork skins or popcorn. You'll work out. Glad you're streaming. Yeah. Peaking is not. Peaking is more about distortion. The vinyl like crackle that seems to be at the start. There is no peaking though. Like there's peaking is a sneak peek at the studio, but there's no peaking. I can guarantee you there's no peaking because those wave monitors right there are not anywhere close to hitting the top. So what it is not peaking though. So whatever else it is. Harold Cat says I store a long length of cable in my pants. Oh, that's the truth there. Right. Thanks for that information. Plescu says remove cables completely. I prefer cables to wireless, although I got a sponsor now that's going to be sending me something that's wireless, so maybe I will release the cables with wireless. I just don't like the idea of wireless everything because I feel I think I've had, if you want to talk about crackles, it's like wireless microphones give me the most headache. Until I've discovered recently how to just change keep changing the frequency until you find one that doesn't pop and crackle and all that, and that will probably help. Yeah, Fred Stop says there's never peaking in my audio. See, that's what's annoying. That's what's annoying. It's like everybody, because I am a film tech channel, I will get like crapped on for every little minor thing. But then people who are very indignant in their like, see now I'm seeing my frame like just skipping, which is bizarre. So I don't know what's going on. You guys saw that? Yeah, you see that little right there, click right there? Yeah, something's going on. Something's going on. I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet, man. I think this stream. It's just good I'm doing this stream because this is not the stream that pays my bills. But when I do get a stream that pays my bills, I don't want this to be happening. So we're going to have to do something with this here. What other vocal things? You guys are like, again, you guys are way making it more complicated. Yeah, bad VHS tracking. It's something to do with like. I think it's something to do with the way the frame is handled through the SDI cable and the way Blackmagic handles it. Let me just, I can't check it. Specs on my machine, I mean, pretty significant on this one. It's got like I think it's an i7, the 7 series, which is a little older, but it's pretty beefy. 16, it's got, I mean, it's up to 4, it's running right now probably about 4 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of RAM. The video card in there is a 660. I didn't really put anything that's crazy. When in doubt, blame Blackmagic. Good idea. Blackmagic, it's your fault. JK asks, this is a test. This is only a test. No, this is a stream, but it's not, I'm not getting paid big bucks. I'm getting paid all of, 15 cents that YouTube gives me for this. Operation Baboon, you have shown your new background and give us a peek. Now go fix your tech. Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to be fixing it today. I think I'm actually just I'm probably going to go down to Fry's after this and just look at their computers because I'm just so annoyed. I'm just so annoyed with the damn thing. Seriously, I spent like so this computer, my friend Joe helped me build it up because I was just like, hey, I don't have time. Can you build this for me? He built it up, got it working just fine. He gave it to me. I brought it back here, tried to turn it on, and it immediately would not turn on. Pulled it apart, and I looked at it, and it was the hard drive, NAND SSD drive, and it's like it would not recognize it all. Pulled the hard drive out, checked it on the other computer, and it was just dead. It wouldn't even pull up at all, the hard drive. So I figured, well, it must be the hard drive. So I took and put a new hard drive in there. But then it took like 3 tries to get Windows installed. It just would not install. So then it would. So I finally got it installed like last night, and then I took it to do a test stream today, and it worked fine today. Worked absolutely fine today, and then brought it back here, and then now it's not. Now it's glitching, and it's like it's glitching. It's struggling. And this is like a brand new install, man. This should be nothing going on here with this computer, but we're just having trouble. We're just having issues like left and right. So like I have to, like I'm at my wit's end with it. Like I mean I don't know it might be something on the motherboard that's kind of gone sour and it's not talking to something or another, or there's something interrupting something, because it works. I mean, when Windows, I'm streaming now, it's kind of functional, but like if I do oops, that's not the pro. If I do like any kind, I'm just test. The thing is, like every time I test something, like and it works, I'm like, oh, it's working. But then I think, well, okay, it's working now. Let's see if I'll just send one comment and see if it's. I get to work for a little bit, but then like I get upset when it's not working again. Like, see, it's all struggling, and it shouldn't be struggling to put that comment on the screen. So anyhow, whatever. Let's just hang out for a bit before I go to Fry's and throw more money at this damn problem. Because that's what I do, throw money away at this stupid thing. What are we talking about? I'm getting more views because of this? Sure. Why not? I don't mind. Look, I'm tired, and I'll be honest. I will try to speak the truth to people, like, cause I get annoyed. Like every day, I try to put out something, and people complain and gripe about it. But I don't see you guys making videos. I don't see you guys taking the heat. So I'm gonna shoot it back at you guys. Yeah, don't take it personally, I guess. I mean, I guess I'm kind of taking it personally. We need to get Linus around to sort me out with a truly amazing PC. I would love if Linus came by and gave me some of his PC money, or even never stream after work. This is my work. I don't think I ever get off of work. My entire existence is essentially work and take care of people. I'm going to take care of my mom, who's having issues. I mean, she had the surgery. She's doing well, but she still has trouble walking. And I need to try to get her back on a walking regimen, trying to get her, because the COVID stuff, she used to go to the senior center every day. She called it the old people place. That's what she used to call it. But she used to go to the senior center every day, and at least that would give her some like mobility action and walking around and stuff like that. But now since COVID, she just sits at home all day long, and that can't be good. So I need to just have her walk up and down, walk up and down. Wrenchmine says you make videos, he's edited as we chat. Yeah, I'm Wrenchmine. You're not the one complaining and yelling at me for like little minor things, saying it's peaking when it's crackling. You know. So, Operation Baboon says, I've got a cool idea for a web series, a project that fucked up and lost funding for it because some random internet troll, so I get it. Yeah, I think we got to get to a point where we stop taking internet trolls seriously and just treat them as the idiots that they are. And just, so my former partner at the Filmmaker IQ passed away a few years ago. Like he had no stomach for trolls. His favorite saying, and I've kind of adopted it, is this: why don't you go outside and play a nice game of go hide and go fuck yourself? That was kind of like his catchphrase, and I've kind of adopted some of that because I enjoyed that lovely little take. And so I've been accused of being unfairly harsh on my critics. But I figure, if you come at me harshly, I can come back at you just as harshly. There's no reason why. Sharif says, ignore the haters, they rankle, but the stuff you put out is great. Thank you. Shared so many vids explaining there's different aspects of filmmaking, save more painfully explaining it all. Thank you. That's kind of the reason why I made those videos. Precisely the reason I make these videos is so I don't have to explain them on forums. Like the video I just put out. I put out a month or so ago. The wire bokeh oval and anamorphic lenses. Wire the anamorphic lens bokeh oval, and that video serves the purpose of never having to explain it again. Here's the video. There you go. No, my mic is not broken. That's the thing. Like you gotta know if you don't know what's broken, you gotta figure it out. Oh, Wrenchmine's got some videos. I gotta watch some of his videos then. All right. Joel says, how many people are on the Filmmaker IQ team? Officially, you're looking at it. Team. I got some friends that kind of come in and help, but it's me. Yeah, but Apparition Baboon, the crux of the problem with social media era is that all village idiots now have much more voices as smart people used to, and the morons congregate. And the morons drive attention. Like, how many times have you seen a news article, clicked on a news article, and it's basically people are up in arms against so-and-so, and you click on the article, it's one person on Twitter. It's like, okay, we need to stop giving that one person on Twitter the power to write news articles. Because like people on Twitter are upset that they filmed the new Bond movie at 24 frames per second. Because I'm sure you'll find somebody that's pissed off that should, but then it becomes a big headline because that's, clickbaity, and then you get that. Fred Stops says, do you have any resistance when starting your channel, like insecurity, self-doubt? That's one of my main struggles. I'm super insecure. That's why I like bristle and people like leave me annoying comments. I'm not particularly like insecure, self-doubt. I just put out stuff, just put out stuff. I think one thing I've learned in the last year at least is to be less insecure. Like, this would have probably made me feel really bad that we had all these problems today with the stream. I've had problems with streams in the past, like consistently, like almost every stream. When I first started doing regular streams for like Filmmaker IQ, like it became a running joke. Like, hey, this is the first stream without audio issues, but there were always issues, and now they're coming back again. But I think you got to get past that, and you got to realize that, hey, and unfortunately, and I'll be honest, like, so my former partner was kind of a dick about it. Like everything had to be super highly polished, and it messed with my output. It totally messed with my output, and totally messed with how I even approached the internet and all that stuff. And for the way worse. And I think it is better to be slightly less polished and more immediate. Not to say that there isn't room for polish, because believe me, the videos that I've made that are super high polished still make me money. So there's a reason. The reason for having high quality, but don't let the high quality be so high that it impedes you from actually producing content, which is what it was, and it still is in some ways keeping me from producing as much as I like to produce. I mean, it's a balancing act. You have to balance it all the way around. Operation Baboon says, my blocking videos was still one of the best beginner video guides on YouTube. Thank you. Was the reason I started following you. Like so much of your look on history of the industry is great. Thank you so much. Sig Meow for the Herald's cat. Love the crown. I'm not quite sure what Sig Meow. Sharif Shah one says, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Who said that? Now I'm flickering. Dang it. All right, I need to get a new computer. Unquestionably need to get a new computer. This is so annoying, so annoying. Oh wow. Yeah. Paul Smith says, I did live streaming last year. I always had issues, audio problems, video problems, OBS stuttering. Yep. So I think part of the reason maybe today is I'm different. What I'm doing differently is I'm streaming into Blackmagic's deck link today. And when I was doing it earlier, I used the Blackmagic Atom to feed a webcam stream. So maybe the webcam stream is less hard on the computer. I don't know. Christopher wants me to hit him up with some consulting on the stream. Yeah, if you want to do it for free. One with trials is starting to think my messages are not going there. LOL. Yep. Good Frog Entertainment says cinema peaked in 1898 with a train entering stations. Never been as good since that train. Since those factory workers left the Lumiere factory, there's never been quite the same. Oh, Wrenchmine, thank you for the super chat. I'm far from perfect. Operation Baboon says, am I using OBS? No, I'm OSB or OB. I'm sure you mean OBS. No, I'm not. I'm using Vmix. OBS is nice in the fact that it's free, but I think Vmix is much more better. Oh, Voltaire said, perfect is the enemy of good. Usually attributed to Voltaire. It's somewhere of a constant struggle. Yeah. I like that, though. It's true though. Like the video we're talking about, that blocking video, is far from perfect. There's a lot of mistakes in that video, little technical things that I've been dragged in the mud. So one of the things I can talk about this story on that video, which is, you know, like at least 500,000 views. It's one of my successful videos I've ever made. I'd love to make another one. Maybe when the COVID's over, we can make a sequel or something. So the sound folk, the guys, the hardcore sound folks, which I think are the saltiest people on a film crew. Like, of all the people on film in a film set, the sound engineers or the sound folks are the most salty of them all. They're the most annoying or annoyed, and they just every day is just misery for them because they hate their life. I think sound folks generally hate their life. I'm just joking, but so that video, my friend who was helping me out, I just like, okay, you're in charge of the boom pole. I gave him the boomstick. We had nothing, you know. I don't have a whole bunch of gear for sound. Like, you're gonna hold this boomstick. You're gonna hold the mic boom, and we're recording audio wirelessly too. So wireless was our primary, but the boom was a secondary. And so he had nothing to carry the recorder in, so he just put it in like a Ralph shopping bag. And oh my God, the sound folks, the sound forums, they just went to town. This guy's such an idiot. Oh my God, can you believe he's using a Ralph's bag? And they just like, they had their fun with me. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's fine. But I just hate that. Well, I mean, it's part of my insecurity as well, I guess, because I want to be taken seriously, right? Whatever that means. But so I'm not taken seriously because I'm using a Ralph's bag. So it's like there's an impossible. Well, it's a gatekeeping, you know, position to have. It's like if you're not using a ProTech or whatever sound carrier, you know, you're not really a filmmaker. Whatever. Shop smart, shop S-smart. Exactly. So I'm sorry yeah. When I go on my rants, I tend not to watch your chat. So if you did say something you want me to see, just type it again. No one's going to complain. Yeah. Talking about OBS, open source is. I don't think OBS is better than Vmix. I think Vmix is actually more. There's a lot more in Vmix that is to like. But OBS works because it's free, and sometimes you do want something that's free, and you don't want necessarily you don't want all the accoutrement of Vmix, all the bells and whistles of Vmix, but you just want something to do something basic, and OBS is kind of the way to go. Oh, hi! Oh, thank you, Joel, for the super chat. Something to cheer me up with a little bit. I'm feeling a little better. Now I can go buy that new computer. I need to. Oh, my God. Sean says, Vmix is great. Have been using for 5 years a whole variety of different ways. I like OBS. I have used Wirecast, whatever gets the job done right. Yep, they're all just tools. And the thing I like about Vmix is I like the kind of, I like the some of the basic mentalities of how to operate. You know, I think the difference, the OBS is better, or OBS works fine if you're not doing a lot of switching. Like OBS works fine if you're doing, you know, I mean, maybe because I haven't messed around with OBS a lot. Yeah, well, the thing about Handbrake, so Super Cartoons is mentioning Handbrake. What I discovered is Handbrake is really FFmpeg. And if you know how to do FFmpeg, like if you actually know how to get in there and like do all the code, the MS-DOS hackerish, you know, code to do FFmpeg, you basically have the entirety of Handbrake. So that's what makes Handbrake so powerful. Is basically it's a GUI'd version of FFmpeg, which is great because I have no idea how to use FFmpeg. It's too many code. It's not like command line. Yeah, command line Linux commands. Yeah, like old DOS. You know, like. There you go. Myth Dustards. Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin. I think I'm a Buster Keaton fan. I think I prefer Buster Keaton to Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin made a couple good films, but the thing is, the funny thing about Charlie Chaplin is his better films were during the sound era, like the ones that he's really, really well known for. I mean, there's a lot of the old silent films that he's you know obviously built his career on, but like the ones like City Lights and the Great Dictator were during the sound era. So, Quink, hybrid is better. Yeah, I imagine so. Linux for the win. Yeah, I'm not a Linux guy. Alrighty. So what time did I start? 4:20? Okay, yeah, that's right. I start for 4:20 because that seems to be what time I'm around. Not for any other reason. No, not for any other reason, YouTube. No, there's no reason why we start at 4:20. No other reason whatsoever. Buster was more innovative. I agree with that. I think Buster Keaton was more in the line of the physical comedian. Whereas I think Charlie Chaplin worked more on the... Well, I mean, Charlie Chaplin was very physical, had a lot of physicality too, like the whole skating scene in that, I believe it was Modern Times. That was, I mean, that's super physical. But I think Buster Keaton had a little more of the wiriness to him. In the same light, I would put Buster Keaton with Harold Lloyd. And if I were to do like a screening of a silent film, I'd actually pick Harold Lloyd. Like if I were to introduce people to a movie they hadn't seen in the silent film era, and I'm not a big like technician, or I'm not a big, what's it called, student of silent film. I don't particularly like silent film all that much, but I'd rather watch a Harold Lloyd film just because they're different and they're something I haven't seen. Charlie Chaplin is more sentimentality. Again, I've probably seen a lot of Charlie Chaplin films already, so I'd rather see more Harold Lloyd. I'd love to see more Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd. There's something about him. Wrenchmine does Linux all day. Well, good for you. I can barely keep up with my Windows. One with trials. Message me up. Help me talk over Discord about anything live streaming and show you all I know. Cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, hit me. Well, send me an email because I'll forget. Go to filmmakeriq.com. Send an email. You know, one thing I discovered, like I didn't realize my reCAPTCHA on my filmmakeriq.com, I didn't realize I didn't set it up all the way. So I was like, man, I built this brand new website. The reason I took down the old website partly was because I was getting messages like every other day saying the login is broken, I can't find my username and password, please delete my account. And I was discovering like there's just so much like issues with the old site that I got to take it down. I'm troubleshooting this like every single other week, and people are complaining that things are not working right. And look, not everyone's using the courses and I'm not getting out of it. And people, there were probably some people that were getting stuff out of it, but it's like, I'm not getting paid on it. The whole thing's basically a big giant security risk. So I rationed to myself, like, I need to take this thing down and start over from scratch. So I did, and I set the new contact form. I'm like, all right, I'm going to set up so now I'm not going to get spam like 100 spam messages a day. I set this thing new up, and sure enough, I got 100 spam. I was getting like 100 spam messages a day. Like every single comment was like, "Hey, I want to write for a blog for you." It's like, no, you don't. And then I had like people trying to have me sell like 420 products. So I was all kinds of nonsense, right? But then I realized, I go in there and like, I didn't set up my Google reCAPTCHA, which is that thing where you click on like, I am a human. And I turned that on, and now I don't get any spam at all. I'm like, thank you. Anyhow, so yeah, go on my site, send me an email, and we'll talk. And in fact, I'm going to probably do a video. I'm going to be doing a video in the next couple of weeks about how to even build a streaming setup. And right now, it's going to be get a computer that works. That would be nice. I'm almost certain that there's something wrong with this computer. There's got to be something wrong with the computer. A new, fresh installed Windows should not act this way. Not act like this. No way. Shemp or Curly? I think I like Curly better. Okay, Super Cartoonist, you are like our free YouTube filmmaker teacher. I hope so. I hope I am. I'm trying to be. You can also, if they ever have classes at the college again, maybe I can teach there too. We'll see. Maybe when I get my income tax money, I'll help support. Oh, yay! I probably have to pay some income taxes this year. I don't know. Maybe COVID relief will give me a little break on the taxes. I did well. I actually made money last year, even despite because of COVID. Everyone was forced to do a lot of video. That's me. I do video. How old is this computer? This is a fresh install. The computer itself, I don't know, 3 years old or so. It's not that old. It was my editing machine. Then I built myself a new editing machine. But I think there's something wrong with the motherboard. I really think there's something going on where it's like it's just not there's some fault somewhere, and I don't know how I'm going to like troubleshoot it. I don't think I have the time or the willpower. Man, my office is still kind of a mess. I mean, I got this part kind of cleaned out so we can do this little stream here, but holy moly, like you can barely walk around. Oh yeah, and also got into 3D printing. I forgot to mention that. So I got a 3D printer. And I've been learning a little bit about 3D printing. Got a couple 3D printers set up, or a couple 3D prints set up and made, and so I've been doing that. Myth Duster says, "Did you ever see the jazz singer before? Did research on the sound era? I have not seen it till your video. No, did I ever? I haven't even watched. I really haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched parts of the jazz singer. I have not seen the entire." Movie, but I did watch like the first musical, which was one of the first musicals of the sound era. Was that 42nd Street? I think one of the first. It was not the first. Which printer? I bought the Ender 5 Plus, so I can make big things because I want to make them big. First thing I made was actually a little stand for my ATEM Mini. I have an ATEM Mini and an ATEM Mini Pro. So I made two stands, and they make my Pro stand up just a little up like that, and it's really cool. Then a friend of mine likes manatees, so I made her a manatee. I'm going to try printing it, and I'm going to try sanding it and painting it. That's my practice, and then I'm going to make all kinds of stuff. Practical and for fun, because I as a kid I used to make models, like model cars and planes and stuff like that. And I kind of fell out of it, and when you reach that age where I'm heading, my hairline's like almost gone. I'm going to be Mao Zedong in a few years. Maybe even at the end of the year I'll probably be Mao Zedong, the hairline of Mao Zedong. And when you reach a certain age, you kind of reach back to when you were younger and like thinking of all the things you enjoyed when you were young, like that. No fair, printing an Oscar. There you go. There's an idea. Hey, another idea I want to do. I probably want to do later this year is maybe during the summertime, maybe when COVID lets up a little more. I want to do a contest, and I want to print you guys some awards. I'll maybe give like 4 or 5 awards out. That's going to be the contest, and the contest will be something like I'm thinking it's going to be along the lines of like shoot a little video of your hometown, just kind of advertise your hometown and why you think it's cool, or maybe you don't like it. Make it sarcastic, whatever. And I'll give out an award, like maybe I'll give out 2 or 3 awards, and it'll be like a little statue. You'll get your own little Oscar, but it'll be like a John. I don't know what to call it though. How many tabs and programs do I have open in the background? Nope, nothing. Vince, so here we go again. Vincent Pierce says, "Sound like the audio is clipping." It is not. It is. It's what's. I'm trying to do the mark thing. It is not. It's not clipping. It's crackling. So there's probably a cable issue. Did I ever see the Neil Diamond remake of The Jazz Singer? No, I did not. David Bowen Brown says, "Cool. I got a resin printer earlier today." Yeah, printing is like printing 3D printing kind of reminds me a little bit of shooting real film, because you have an idea what it's going to look like, but you don't know until many hours later. So. Yeah, Paul Smith is an interesting idea. I'd like to take part of it. I would love everybody to take part of it. I obviously have to make I'll have to put a time stamp on it or time limit on it. But basically, I want to see. I mean, I don't want people. This contest, I don't want people to go like hire cast and crew. I want people to just shoot something of them, and I want people to kind of show me a little bit of how they exist. Because that's so weird. Because one of the first things I do if I ever like visit someplace different is like to go to the grocery stores. Because like when I go to Vegas, I always like to go, because I'm a cheapskate. I like to go to the grocery store off the strip to buy stuff. Liquor. So you never buy liquor on the strip. Always go off the strip to the grocery store. And it's the little things. You walk into an Albertsons in Las Vegas, it's a little bit different than the Albertsons in my hometown of Temecula. I'm living here in Temecula. So I like seeing, the one thing I've kind of got well, I've got really into going to this store called Winco in Temecula. And Winco is kind of a smaller chain of grocery stores. And it's not like high end, and it's not, I mean, it's just barely above the low end. But I like it because the prices are good, and I like certain products they have at Winco they don't have anywhere else. And it's just little things like I want to see how people live and their life around the world, because I kind of like to see ultimately, I want to come back to the fact that we're all the same, even though we're all different. That we can both be totally different and totally the same at the same time. And I think that's what's missing in our world. It's like, you know, people are really in a different, we're all different, but we're all the same. Let's go and split it that way. How about existing video for the contest? I mean, if it meets that criteria, but the whole point of the contest is to get you out there to make videos, not to show me your old stuff. Oh yeah, Roy Bixby says it's quicker to 3D print Mayfer super clamp wedges than to wait for them to arrive by courier. I imagine some things too, like I keep wanting to, there's certain little tiny things that I need. Like I want a wire clip that just clips on to like something that holds a wire in place. But I don't even know where to find it or even what it's called. But if I can print it, even if it takes an hour, the problem is I have to figure out how to design it. I'm still not, my 3D designing is not quite up to, I mean, I can do 3D Studio Max, and that's close enough. But I just need to figure out a workflow for the design. Right now, I'm just having fun just printing stuff I find online. I actually bought a couple models just to play with, too. 3D printing is the beginning of decentralized mass production. Instead of buying products, we will be buying materials and patterns, multi-material. Voxel printing is amazing stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be a need for buying products because I think 3D printing is a very specialized. I don't think a lot of people have the stomach for 3D printing. It's certainly not there yet. Your town sucks? No, I mean, sure, a lot of people think their town sucks, but okay, show it to me. Why do you think it sucks? And that kind of thing. I just want to see everybody, what everybody's doing. Question: is it worth renting an Arri Alexa for shooting a feature for a week, or owning a Blackmagic Ursa for 4.6? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think do you want to rent or own is the question. So you can rent an Alexa for a week. The question is, do you know how to use an Alexa? If you don't know how to use an Alexa, it may not be a good idea to rent it for a week. But if you have somebody that is very competent with the Alexa, then it makes sense to rent it for a week. Those kind of questions are a little bit tricky. Like obviously, because I come from a video standpoint, and I would talk about it like owning stuff is a way to master it and know how to use it really well. Renting stuff is when you already know how to use it, you're just renting it to use it. That's kind of more, I think, yeah, I should put that on the board. Renting or owning. I should put that on the board as what things to do. But anyhow, yeah. So I don't know. It depends on what you have also, what resources you have available to you at the time. Whether you want to rent an Arri or you want to buy a Blackmagic. Now, can you shoot a feature on either one? Yeah, you can. Obviously, you can shoot it on feature on either one. And I'm sure the Arri has a lot more devotees to it as far as the professional world is concerned. But it is what it is, man. If you can afford it. I don't know. I'm wishy-washy today on that topic. You're going to find a different answer every time you come to my chats. All right, let's see. Yeah, Fred Stops is a good one. Intimate approach, I want to get in on that. Me and the camera out and about. Exactly. And I will even go so far, like I don't mind people shoot it with I would prefer people shoot it with their phones or with a small camera. That's perfectly okay. I'd rather see interesting angles, interesting ways to look. I mean, just get out of the norm. Don't just shoot everything from, here's my store. I don't know, show me a different angle. Show me something that's get out of the box, something different you would never, ever do. Should you buy lenses but rent camera bodies? Okay, I'm gonna turn into the Salty John here for a second. If you're asking that question, you don't know enough about cameras to make a decision. So the basic thought is you should well, the basic idea is that camera lenses are big investments that hold their worth, whereas camera bodies will depreciate rather quickly. Like you can still shoot with a 1970s, like anamorphic whatever Panavision. Well, I don't know if you can even get your hands on a Panavision, but like a Cook lens from the 1970s still shoot just fine. But you're not going to use a camera from 2015. It's not worth as much as it is now, right? So that's the idea, is you should own the lenses and rent the bodies. But are you there yet? Are you going to drop $50,000 on a lens? Is that really where we're at yet? If you're going to be dropping, a $500 on a lens, $800 on a lens, even $3,000 on a lens. I mean, $3,000 lens, you're getting yourself a nice, like a nice one single cinema lens for that price. A decent, maybe lower end cinema lens, but it's still cinema lens, still nice, like maybe a Zine or something like that. But are you willing to drop that much on that? And then we can talk, because don't put the cart before the horse. That's what I'm trying to say. That's a salty John coming out. I'm so salty. Oh, there's an error. There's an error. Oh, so my site's saying there's an error. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten any spam messages. There's errors on the site. I'll have to check into that. Thank you for letting me know. I'll look into that. Yeah, cameras outdate, glasses forever. But you got to be willing to invest like serious money into the glass. Like I'm talking like $30,000, $20,000, $30,000 and if you want to do like a set. Even a set of cinema primes at this year is going to be like, $10,000. So, unless you're willing to spend that kind of money, I wouldn't think. But even then, it's like a $10,000 set of cinema lenses. It's not going to appreciate that much in value. It'll probably hold the value. But again, it'll probably hold the value better than the $10,000 camera. That's for sure. So, yeah. If you're a DP, you buy lenses. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, did I get to print that 8x10 yet? No, I have not printed anything. Hi, Nancy Pelosi. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Nancy Pelosi's online. Well, hey, at least I'm not opening a hair salon, so I'll be okay. What lens do you recommend for shooting miniature sets? Oh my goodness, we're in a trouble question. I was thinking an iPad would be better than my Canon. Miniature sets, I've heard good things about that probe lens, but it's an f14, so it's an insanely dark lens. Insanely slow lens. Probe lens is probably the classically the best thing for miniatures, because you get that right inside the sets. Yep, there you go. Jason says he's been shooting freelance for 11 years. He's still using the lens he bought at the start of his career and on his 6th body. Yep, there you go. As a black person packing at least 6 inches, approve the stream. Wake Wakanda forever. All right, Armand. Thank you. I'm mostly a stills for photog. Most of my lenses cost between $1,000 and $5,000. Yep. Yeah. Stills lenses are in that neighborhood. Cinema lenses tend to be, I think the cheapest you're going to find one is like $2,000 for a cinema lens. But to be honest, they're worth it. They really are. Like I'm shooting right now with a Canon cinema lens zoom lens. I paid $4,500 for it used, and I gotta tell you, like it raised my videography to another level. Like I went to last video I put up here was that video about shoot the fill side. I shot that with a Canon F. It was a Canon zoom lens with one of those with a red ring around it, so I forget what model it was. But like when I was looking at it and comparing it, I was like, there's a subtlety. There's a subtlety in the way that the bokeh, the defocused image looks. There's a subtlety that I don't particularly like about the stills lens, that I prefer the cinema lens. A very, very subtle thing. It might not be something that would pick up, anywhere else, but like I noticed it. It's very, very subtle though. Like you may not notice it on YouTube, But man, it is so weird. Missed the comments. A long comment here. I'll read it here. Operation Baboon. If you're a filmmaker, any director, producer, is probably not necessary unless you have the change. Unless you have the change to invest in gear, it's probably cheaper stuff, and you still rent. I think also, you gotta put things in perspective. If if you're an early filmmaker, you shouldn't be renting a Arri Alexa anyway. And that's gatekeeping, but there's too many. You shouldn't be renting a Red. You should be probably sticking more towards smaller cameras. I know DSLRs. I have issues with DSLRs, but they are the beginning filmmaking camera, and that would be a good place to start. Until you get more comfortable with that, and then you can build up and build up and build up. Or the other thing is to hire somebody. Hire a DP. And then make the decision because they have the experience. And I think that's probably the better way if you want to get to that level. If you want to skip all that, hire a DP. And the DP will decide and tell you, I want to rent this camera. And they might be renting it for their own reel and making you pay for it. That's very well the case. But you just come back and say, I have a budget for this much. Make do what you can do. Yeah, cinema lenses are frighteningly expensive. You get the high-end lens. The most expensive lens I saw was $112,000. Yeah, $112,000 for a Canon, like, super zoom lens. It wasn't super. It was like 18 to 180 something, but it was one of the most expensive production lenses I've ever seen. I don't even know what Panavision. Panavision doesn't even sell their lenses, I think. I saw a making of a BBC nature documentary, The Perfect Planet. They were using Canon 50 to 1,000 millimeters. That's pretty crazy. 60 FPS on nitrate film. Yay. What a waste of film. Audio recording level recommend. Okay, sorry, David. I forgot to get to you. The classic traditional, say, is between 12 and negative 12 and negative 24. Make sure you don't leave it at that, though. You want to record there, but don't leave it. Don't just like pass it off from negative 12 to negative 24. You want to boost the level in post. But negative 12 to negative 24 will give you about six-ish dB of headroom. So it resembles the traditional analog recording. And my numbers might be slightly off, but I think you'll be safe if you don't ever go above negative 12. You'll probably be very, very safe. Again, also don't make it too quiet either, because you don't want to pick up all that noise. I'm starting to blink out now. My stream is blinking out. I'm working on no budgets with DPs that came from Reds and fucking Coke lenses. Have them pull some strings, man. I don't have any budget. Come on, man. Pull some strings. Get that Red camera that you had before. There you go. Jason's got some great advice here. Don't buy any camera or lens until you know why you need that camera or lens. If you can't list a bunch of reasons you need that camera or lens, you don't need it. Amen, brother. In fact, that is lessons that that is something I should listen to, because I've got a warehouse of stuff I probably don't need, but I have. Because I want some stuff, like this stupid background. I don't need it, but it's awesome. I love it. I think it's cool. It's classic. And the idea is I can change that to whatever I want. Anyhow, I'm sorry. I might be a little salty because I'm just tired. I'm tired. I've been lifting a bunch of heavy stuff all day. Fred Stop says, used for the first time, Canon Cine primes and milkiness on the bokeh is magic, really. In insight, I would better investment than my C200 paid for itself, but the value now is low. I still like the C200. I bought myself a C70, which I used in the last video. I have not even shot anything with it since my last video. I haven't shot anything with the C200. I haven't shot anything. I've been busy doing this, like rebuilding the set, and like that's not real brick, obviously. That's foam. I can mash my head on that thing. It won't hurt. Oh, sorry. One with trials. Just message me at john@filmmakeriq.com. Yeah, I just gave away my email address. You guys could have figured that out. John at film. You probably go john@red.com. Or what? Who's the founder of Red? Whatever his name is. That's his name. You guys will tell me. Jared, right? Gerald at red.com. That's probably his email. You probably figured it out. Oh my God. Just bought the Sony A7S. Awesome. Saves me money and not having to buy lights. I can shoot in the dark. There you go. I used to think that. Well, the important thing is not that you can shoot in the dark, but you can shoot with a lot less light, which is nice because then you can like tone everything down. Like even what I'm doing right now, like this probably wouldn't have been possible in the old days of video because those TVs would never have been bright enough. That's the thing. We talked interesting fact when we talk about split diopter lenses that were used on the motion picture Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the original, the first one, right? The reason why they did a lot of split diopter was because they had to shoot a super low aperture, because the TV screens that they used for the computer screen, the monitors on the Starship Enterprise, were too dim. That if they went deeper focus, if they went deeper aperture, you wouldn't be able to make out the screens on the Starship. That's why they had to use so much split diopter, because they couldn't get any depth of field with a 2.8, or whatever they had to, in order to get that screen to meet the light of the set, or the light of the film, the film needed. So that's why they see so much split diopter. And I'm one of those weird guys. I hate the split diopter look. I just do not like it. And there's so many film nerds. I think the reason why the film nerds love split diopter is because it's one extra thing they can talk about at cocktail parties. Oh, are you familiar with the split diopter shot? Yes, I am. Yeah, I love that look. I love the look of split diopter because of blowout. Yeah, not blowout. Whatever. Yeah, the John Travolta movie. Whatever. It's a blowout. Maybe it was blowout. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. A lot of split diopter stuff. I don't like the shot. I don't like the look of it at all. I just do not like it. It looks completely unnatural. If in that situation, I would much prefer a split screen than a split diopter shot. It just looks ugly to me. Anyhow, I've been annoying your comments because I've been going on a tirade about split diopters. No. John at filmmakeriq.com. Not John at filmmaker. John at filmmakeriq.com. John, one with trials. I missed a bunch of your comments. Let's go back here. Jason, with my level of experience, I should own a Red, but I don't. I have a Z-Cam. Oh, because it does most of the stuff I need at 1/4 the price. Sure. Yeah, well, you should, but what's should mean? Maybe, I don't think you should own a Red. You can own a Red. Do you want to split the money down for a Red? Or do you want to get where you want to? Do you want to get where you're going for 1/4 of the price? I've been kind of curious about the Z-Cam. I haven't even tried it out. I haven't tested that one out. I fell in line with Sony or I'm sorry, it's not Sony, Canon, because I like the colors of the Canon. I just do, and I just gets me there. Oh, hi from India. Where friends learn so much from you from this channel. I would love to. So. People like Sinhad Reddy. I'd love to see where he lives, and we're talking about a contest I want to do. But I'd love to see where you live. So you're gathering money for your first short film project. We're having the best concept. Can't thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Good luck with that. I think I prefer interlace you better. Probably why. I need to fix this computer. All right. The comment, Momo says, the red comment reminded me of that dude that wanted a freebie from me on his commercial stuff. He took a loan to get a Red. He doesn't have the money for the editor. One of my early jobs, you gotta be careful with this, man. One of my early jobs, I was working with a producer who was actually a producer on the movie Prefontaine. I gave it away, but he's dead now, so it doesn't matter. But he was like, okay, man, I need you to do me a favor, dude. We got to do this really cheap. What's the best price you can give me on this music video? I'm helping this guy out, right? And I'll help you out for $1,000. We'll shoot it. You can come to my house. I was working at my house at the time. Come to my house. We'll do like a dream set with like fog and all that stuff. We'll cut some of that. We'll go to the beach. We'll do some shots there. I'll edit this thing. I'll make a little mini documentary. $1,000. Okay, cool. He's like, all right, we can do this. So we did it for $1,000, and it was literally it was a vanity piece. This guy, he couldn't sing, but he had money, so he did the prize. So I shot it, I edited it. The only thing I didn't do was make the contact, right? And so I did all that. I did everything on this video. I even recorded and mixed the thing. And I charged him $1,000, and I find out many years later that he turned around and charged the client $15,000 for this video, and I got $1,000 out of that. I mean, hey, at the time I was willing to do it for $1,000, so good for me. But this guy walked away with $14,000 to basically do nothing. I mean, kind of produce it, which is like, oh, we're gonna meet here and we're gonna meet over there. $14,000 in my pocket. So yeah, that guy was he was an alcoholic, and he died from being an alcoholic. He was actually I was working with him doing a lot of like Alcoholics Anonymous stuff. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but I was introduced by another friend who couldn't work with him anymore. I can see why. So I was the next in line, and I was the last guy in line until he drank himself to death. So yeah, there's that. Story of my life. Couldn't sing even with autotune. Yeah, my autotune skills were not that good back in those days. My city isn't too safe to wave a camera around, but I can try, Pedro says. Well, you can use your phone. I don't mind. In fact, phone camera might be the best way to go, because that way no one will bother you. Operation Movement, the CX00 series is really good when it comes to looks, when it's some of the best color. I just don't like their company philosophies. Yeah, gate features behind paywalls and stuff, very annoying. Yeah, I agree. But then again, gotta get out of the mindset that those Canon DSLR cameras, they're not video cameras, and we gotta get out of the mindset. And I agree with Canon on that. They're not video cameras, so we need to stop thinking of them as video cameras and being upset that they don't have the video features. Because I think with those DSLRs, they've kind of gone back to the philosophy of let's really make these still cameras. And that's what they are. They're still cameras. Now, Sony, on the other hand, they're perfectly happy, I guess, cannibalizing the hell out of their series of other cameras. But yeah, the C is the cinema series, exactly. That's what I agree with you. But I think you're referring more to the gating of the features behind the paywalls of the Canon DSLR stuff. So, oh, you're talking about the C series is also gated? I guess. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Like the C200, I guess the C200 may have the ability to have better recording capabilities on its SD cards, I guess. Maybe that's what you're referring to, the gating. But yeah, I get that, I guess. But I'm still C200. The thing with the C200 is the video file, the MP4 that it records, is quality enough. I think people get because I don't do broadcast quality stuff, or broadcast quality, but none of my stuff goes to broadcast QCs and stuff like that, or Netflix quality control, where I know there can be incredibly aggravating to deal with. So most of my stuff is web or commercial stuff. And commercials, they take your money, dude. I don't think I've had a commercial. I've had maybe one or two commercials rejected for quality control because they don't care. They just want your money. They're not going to say, no, we can't use this. So everything. Have I gotten 0 dislikes on this? Well, you just wait. We'll get some. But yeah. So anyhow, the C200 does really well for what I do. Any advice for pre-production? How about filming a club scene? Holy moly, that's tough. Pre-production is very, very difficult in that you just need to think of everything you possibly need, and then you realize you still haven't thought about everything. And you film a club scene you have to find a club, or at least make something that looks like a club. And sometimes you can do that with an empty room, just put some lights and fill it with some people. That may not be possible in a COVID situation. It's difficult, But what you love about Hollywood is every time a Hollywood film, almost every Hollywood film that takes place in a club, they're just they can whisper to each other, "Hey, how you doing? I really like your shirt." It's you can't. Only a couple movies have started to kind of drift away from that and started showing like clubs as they really are. It's just, "Hey, how are you doing?" And the person's like, Yeah, I like this song. Like, that's how real clubs are. It's just impossible. I preferred my Hack GH2 to the MK25. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're talking about DSLRs and mirrorless. Yeah, mirrorless. Obviously, mirrorless is better for video because because when you shoot video with a DSLR, you basically raise the mirror, so there's no reason to have a mirror. But I prefer the mirror when shooting stills way better than the looking at the back of the screen. That's just to me way better. I own the Canon R5 for stills work. The video is damn impressive, but if you didn't have to shoot stills to C70, it would be a no-brainer. I have the C70. I think it's an amazing camera. I haven't played enough with it, but I got the C70 to go with my C200. It kind of does a lot of things the C200 doesn't do, like time code and better recording formats. It doesn't shoot RAW, so there's that problem with it. Oh yeah, 10 Things I Hate About You. They had to yell in the club. Some of the few movies they started doing it right. Yeah, David G. Gell says, I want to shoot my short film, but it's tricky these days, especially with the COVID. Yeah, not even possible. I mean, the big boys are having a hard time shooting. They have to jump through hoops in order to get anything done. So you imagine the small fries? No, man. Unless we all just agree that we're all going to just violate COVID lockdown rules or whatever, group gathering rules. Although the vaccine's going to come around pretty soon. I mean, I'm thinking like late summer, people will be vaccinated, and that'll be good. So we can get move on that. What keyboard is this? This is just a Logitech, dude. Nothing special. Come to New Zealand. I would love to go to New Zealand. You buy me a ticket, I will come. I'll get on a plane and head over there. I am COVID free. I promise you. We are from PUNE, which is close to Mumbai, the heart of Bollywood. Nice. Where we have experienced in various regional web series. Oh, your lighting videos help us deeply. Good. We'll share our work. Well, cool. We can shoot whatever we want without masks. All right. Just check the price on a 50 to 1,000 lens is $70,000 on B&H. Yep. Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, that's not going to depreciate either. It's not going to, because 5 years from now, it's still going to be about $70,000. Might be more because of inflation. Who knows? But it's not going to go down in value. It's not like a camera. Like 5 years from now, the C70 is not going to be $5,000. It's going to be a lot cheaper than that. So that's going to our point. So Sid here wants me to go to India. Definitely have an amazing response to your workshop. I would love to go to India. I would love to travel. I can't travel. I'm tied right down. Right. I'm tied right down right now. Why do you say that DSLRs are not video cameras? Because they're not. The DSLRs are not video. They just happen to shoot video. They're not video cameras. There's so much so. I mean, it's starting to relax now. I hear that the EU standards, like the reason why DSLRs aren't allowed to record longer than 30 minutes, is because it is a tariff issue. Because if they do shoot more than 30 minutes, then they will be considered video cameras. So they're purposely, stopped at 30 minutes. Well, that's starting to change because I think people realize, that's not really useful. But yeah, DSLRs, I mean, look, I'm not saying you can't shoot video with DSLR. And in fact, I encourage anybody, if that's all you can afford, go ahead and knock yourself out and shoot a DSLR. I've got an award out there I got best film out there for shooting on DSLR. I made award-winning films on shoot DSLRs, right? It's fine. Go ahead and shoot DSLRs. But back in those days, we didn't have any other choice if you wanted large format. You didn't have that. I shot that on a Canon 5D Mark II. That's how long ago that was. But yeah, if that's all you have is DSLR and that's all you can get access to, go right ahead, shoot it with it. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just saying, don't. You need to graduate from some point from that. Like if you shot DSLR and you're like, oh, I'm looking to upgrade my camera. I'm really getting serious about cinematography. I'd be pushing you away from DSLRs. Like, okay, start moving in a more serious direction there. Do you like Zeiss Compact 3 lenses? Yes, I do. Harold Cat. Yes, I mean, those are. I've only used them at YouTube Space, and they're particularly awesome. They're very, very nice. Is that on Vimeo? Not quite sure. The question, because Eric says, correct, used to have the same issue with DV camcorders back in the day. DV was disabled because they considered VCR for tariffs. Oh, so printing back the tape couldn't be done with lots of, got it. So that's, DV cams were not allowed to record back. Yeah, I don't know. Don't travel to China because you might not come back. I worry about that with my mom going to Taiwan. I don't know what's going on with Taiwan. David Patterson, do I have a podcast or something? The studio looks so cozy. Could see myself sipping coffee in the mornings while listening to you. Oh, well, you should start a podcast again. This is, right now, like I'm trying, part of the reason why I guess I'm salty is like I feel like I've been doing a lot. I've been working myself to death and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere yet. Like I put out one video in the last month. I have a chalkboard full of videos I want to do. I'm so far behind on everything, and at the end of the day, I just want to go home and just turn on the TV and watch something because I just don't have the energy right now to do all this stuff. So I'm like frustrated. Like I'm not getting stuff moving, and this stream, these live streams I do, I'm trying to maintain a schedule of doing these once a week. On Wednesdays, usually, sometime during the Wednesday. I'm trying to move them up a little earlier for the people in Europe, because a lot of Europeans are saying, like, it's really late, man. Every time you come on here, it's 6 o'clock your time, but it's like midnight my time. So I've been trying to do these a little more regularly, just to have some discipline and putting stuff out there. But just right now, I'd love to get to the point where I could kind of find a flow, but I'm not there yet. Just not there. Oh, is my award-winning short on Vimeo? Good question. Okay. I didn't realize that I had Vimeo Pro, and I didn't realize that when you take off Vimeo Pro, it deletes like basically all your stuff. So I don't think it's on Vimeo. I gotta find. I have copies of it somewhere. I gotta put them all back up again, like my old movies and my old short films. But yeah, Vimeo, man. Why would you tear down my old stuff, dude? Like that's like another case against Vimeo. Like YouTube won't take it down. I guess YouTube's not Vimeo's not being funded by Google, by Alphabet, so I guess that's why they take it down. But it kind of pissed me off that I lost all my old all my old films on Vimeo were deleted, and it sucks. John Gratham says, something I struggle to understand. How come DSLRs with the same sensor APS-C have different maximum ISO values? It's ISO values are basically how much you're going to push the gain on the camera, and it's an engineering thing. So it's like, well, it's like kind of like asking like how come some bikes have 4 speeds and some bikes have 18 speeds? Like you can switch them. So it's how it's engineered. It has nothing to do with the sensor size at all. Jason says, don't be hard on myself. COVID is sucking the life out of me. COVID, the state of the world, it all just kind of sucks. So I'm hard on myself because like I realize like I'm trying to, I want to do so much stuff, and I don't have the energy and time to do anything. That's what sucks. And I rebuilt the set. Yeah, and you're only seeing like the small part of it. Like the rest of it is all the stuff that's on the other side of the set, like all the shelves that I've all built. I've put in drawers. I've put in, and then I'll be honest with you, I single-handedly built this. I didn't have anybody help. Not a single person helped me. I tried to get some of my friends to help me, but they're like, yeah. I was like, and if you're not doing anything, you want to come down and help me? No one helped me. This is a solo project. Yeah, and that's what's like. I am kind of a loner in a sense. Like I've traditionally been the lone wolf kind of personality. I don't want to be that, and as I get older, the less and less I want to be a lone wolf. So, but yeah, I gotta get out of that. I really want to get out of that. But COVID didn't help that. No, COVID makes you make sure you're all alone. All alone. Yes, all alone. Anyhow. Operation Mabu says, I get nowhere in my stuff either. I would need passionate, smart producer in my counterweight to keep the perpetual creation machine running. Yeah, especially with COVID too, because it's so depressing. Any ability like I was going to do something and my friend's like, oh, can we wait till after the vaccines are done? I'm like, dude, I was going to shoot with you. Like we could have been, because I wanted him to do like some gymnastic thing. like some stick thing with some fire. It's like I would have been shooting you from like 10 feet away, dude. But like this COVID is this overlying cloud over everything. And filmmaking is unfortunately a group activity and doesn't survive well unless people, who's gonna want to chance COVID if they're not getting paid to do it. So it is what it is. David J says, I lost my motivation, but not my creativity. I'm in the same boat. Like I feel like like one of the things I also want to do is I want to custom make these backgrounds that are behind me. Like I wanted to do, but I can't get in my mind like anything. I mean, today's kind of helpful because I can see what it looks like. So I can get a sense of what would work and what doesn't work back there. But anyhow, I'm going on a weird. Yeah, Roy Bixby says vaccines aren't going to change everything overnight, and I agree with that. Yeah, vaccines, but vaccines at least will kind of move us. Like now, you have a little bit of an excuse. Like you could take some of the pressure off of people. At least there's a little bit more of a light at the end of the tunnel. And I realize, once even when vaccines become a little more widespread, people are not going to jump right back and go back to our old ways of licking doorknobs. I miss licking doorknobs. It's my favorite thing to do. Well, not wash my hands and lick some doorknobs. That's a good Friday night. IQ, I just saw the Attack of the Killer Donuts. What's one of the most stupid movies you've ever seen? Attack of the Killer Donuts. I gotta check that out. I want to talk about the movie Candy. In one of my videos, I'm going to talk about that. But check out the movie Candy. It's hard to. You'll be lifting your jaw off the floor. Now Candy is one of those movies where it is very. It looks like porn because it's trying to be kind of porn, but it's not porn. Because heck, it's Walter Matthau's in it. Walter Matthau's not going to be in a porn. Anyhow. Operation Baboon says, people need to team up again. The last 30 years were too much about me, and we need to go back to us. Oh my God, that's great. Great comment. Super Cartoonist, maybe I broke your streaming setup since I keep changing my icon. Maybe you're the blame. We figured it out, folks. It's Super Cartoonist. He keeps changing his icon. Adrian says, after spending much of the COVID deployed and following almost none of the guidelines, it's weird seeing how scared people are of it. Or are you deployed? You're in the military there? Yeah, I'm not personally scared of COVID myself. Okay, we're deep in the stream. I can kind of let my hair down a little bit. I am not personally afraid of COVID. My mom, I'm a little bit more scared of that because I don't want her to suffer. She is 75 now. She just had surgery. She has dementia, and I don't, if she catches COVID and she dies, that's life. People die. My dad died when I was 19 years old. So I'm familiar with parents dying. It's not completely unknown. And I have a personality where I grieve for my parents' death before they die, which is sadly weird. I remember being a kid and like thinking about my dad dying and like crying in bed. And then like when my dad died, it's like, oh, now it finally happened. And like I was kind of more prepared for it. So like death of a parent is more on my mind. I don't, I'm more accepting of it. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt when my mom passes on, but I'm more ready for it. And I think a lot of people who feel like they're in this like, oh, they'll never die kind of meant. My brain just goes to that. Oh, I've already thought about it. I've already gone through it. So that's why I'm a little more afraid for my mom. Like I don't want my mom to get sick and suffer for it, through it. So that's why I was hurriedly get her the vaccine, so at least she has some protection from it. But personally, I'm not really that afraid. If I catch it, it will be bad. Probably it'll give me an excuse to sit in the bed, I guess. I'll look forward to that. Like, oh, good. But then I probably won't be enjoying the sitting in bed. Probably be a miserable experience. I will be kind of afraid to lose my sense of smell. Oh, shit, my image went down altogether. Oh. I'm going to have to cut the stream off sooner or later. We'll get through this point. Anyhow, I'm not really afraid of COVID. I've been also in the front lines of communicating about COVID, so I feel like I've gotten a little bit more of an inside look at like what's happening as far as the numbers, and I keep an eye on. Like no one ever show you the graph now, because now the graph is going in a positive direction. It's going positive as in good. It's coming down. We don't know why necessarily why cases are going down. I mean, it could be it's obviously too early for the vaccine to take effect that quickly. But diseases tend to do that. They tend to just peter out. They just kind of evaporate, and then they come back, and then they evaporate. It's happened in the Spanish flu. It happened all over history. So we don't know why. But I don't think it's worth getting hysterical about. So my point was, I do see why. I do understand the ideas. First, when California shut down again, Newsom shut down California again, when we were starting to uptick, I was really furious. It's like, oh man, we're doing it again. But now that I saw the numbers and how like dangerously high it spiked really fast, I see why they did. I see why they did it. I understand. I'm not happy about it, but I understand. I understand why they had to do the lockdown. And now that it's coming back down, I can see why they're loosening up. The point is, I'm not too terrified of it. The thing is also, I'm very much a libertarian. I came out. I'm more libertarian than anything else. So I will not judge someone else who makes the choices for themselves. So if someone else is afraid of the virus, I do not feel like they are wrong for thinking that. That is everyone's own prerogative. Absolutely own prerogative. And I don't pass that blame on anyone. So I have respect for other people and their choices. Let's put it that way, I guess. So yeah, I'm going off on a weird tangent. Sigmund Judge says he wants a way to contact me, direct contact. On the site's not broken, so I'll check it off when I get off the stream. I'm probably going to go buy a new computer because I'm sick and tired of this one. But Momo says, my grandma was in the hospital with breath problems and Christmas. Can't really get myself to risk anything, so it's a freelance break for me. It's okay. I enjoy doing more public surface. I enjoy doing more solo projects. Yeah, I don't want my mom in the hospital either. You know, like, it sucks. Like, I don't want anybody, you know, like people that say, yeah, but it has a 99.99% survival rate. Yeah, if you're healthy, if you're young, you know, you're not going to get sick. But, you know, I don't want my parents in the hospital. And the way the hospital sucks, like, it sucks so bad that people are dying and they can't see their loved ones. That's the worst part. Oh, my phone's going crazy. That's the worst part of it too. So that's not good. You know, I don't want that. And I also don't, but also I'm not going to say like, oh, you're killing grandma because you want everything open and free. It's like, but I understand why people want to have things open. I personally want things open as well. Like, I got really angry when they closed all the outdoor dining, because like that's like the one little part of one little piece of entertainment that I still had in my life, because you killed my movies. I couldn't go to the movie theater, you know, and at least I could go out and have dinner, even if it was outside in the freezing cold, because every time I went to an outdoor restaurant, the freaking heaters never would work, or my friends would be sitting next to the heaters and I'd be sitting at the cold. But I get it, you know, and then people's businesses are getting destroyed. And as a small business owner myself, like, I built all of this. Could you imagine if I had to shut everything down? It sucked too. Like, there is grief and shit for everybody, going through everybody, and we need to start having empathy. I talked about this last week. We need to have more empathy for everybody, and empathy for people that shoot 24 frames a second, rather than go back talking about 24 frames. Rather go back to talking about 24. We need to have empathy for people who shoot 24 frames a second. We need to have empathy for people that want to shoot high frame rate too. Doesn't mean you like it. Doesn't mean I have to think that high frame rate is really good for things. Yeah, and then Baboon says, when it comes to something you can't control the spread of, you're not just making the choice for yourself, but for everybody you meet. Your personal freedom ends when you infringes that on others. And that's the libertarian standpoint too. You know, your freedom ends when you infringe on others. The question is, like, where does that infringement end? You know, like, I was having a discussion, and we're getting off COVID now, thank God. Let's talk about something else, but let's we're talking about, like, copyright. Copyright's another one of my favorite topics. I am very pro copyright, which is very pro copyright, which makes me very unpopular in parts of the internet. But one of the arguments that I had was, like, if I denied you the Harry Potter book, because you didn't pay for it, does that what kind of damage does that really bring to you? Did I inflict harm on you by not letting you read Harry Potter for free? And I can't read reasonably. There's no damage. So going back, where my ability to move about, or my ability to my freedom, when does that infringe on someone else's freedom? If I don't allow you to read at my, let's say, here's an example. If I put a video on my Patreon that only Patreon members can see, do I hurt you because you did not gain the knowledge that I had on my Patreon? There's a line. Figuring out where that line, it's so messy. It's so messy to figure out where that line is, where you're infringing on the freedom of others from you exercising your freedom. I don't know. The thing is, if we could do COVID testing, I'm talking about COVID again. If we could COVID test everybody every day, do a simple $5 test or even a $1 test, rapid test, and you were COVID free, your freedom of movement wouldn't impede anybody because you don't have COVID. So if we had that, we're going down a very big rabbit hole that other people have gone down already, and I probably don't need to go down. But it's just saying it's messy. It's totally messy. There is no word for copyright in China. Amen to that. So the interesting concept about China is it's the same thing. China has the same copyright that America did, United States did, when the United States was just started. Think about that for a second. When you are a cultural producer, when your country produces culture, you want to protect that with copyright. When your culture does not produce culture, or is a consumer of culture, you want less copyright. So Operation Baboon says copyright is bullshit. That is wrong. You are totally wrong. I will fight you down the rabbit hole on that one. So China it benefits China to be essentially a pirate nation because, don't get me wrong, China produces culture, but they would rather take the culture of other countries, and because they need to catch up essentially. But when China becomes a producer of culture, when China becomes the dominant exporter of culture, then guess who's going to be in favor of copyright? It's going to be China. It's exactly how it always works that way. So I argue with people. People always say we should go back to the copyright that the founders of the Constitution came up with in 1789, right? And put in the whatever article it is in the Constitution. But the thing is, 1789. Name me one author of note in 1789 that lived in the United States that wrote novels. Well, novels haven't even been invented, really. Novels were kind of invented. Maybe you want to consider Miguel, what's his name, from Man of La Mancha, whatever the name of that book is, I can't forget. Maybe you want to consider that first novel, 1604, whatever. You consider that the first novel, but really novels as a commercial thing were not really a thing in 1789. And they weren't really around until 1850, when you kind of Victor Hugo and Charles Dickens. Those guys are who really ushered the reality of the novel, of the actual art of book writing, right? And so it wasn't until then, until you had serious copyright. And that's really when copyright started being taken seriously. At least that's where we derive our modern ideas about copyright, from 1850s. Good frog. But Disney always gets the brunt of the hatred for copyright. And I have to look. Disney is a pariah company. It is a forceful company. It is a company that is, let's be honest. I think overall Disney has been a force of good in the world of entertainment. Absolutely, unquestionably a force of good. But in order to maintain that goodness, they do have to be kind of brutal about their copyright. But the thing about I believe, wasn't there a story about how I think it was Iger, some preschool was fined a lot of money for running they did a Disney night or whatever. And Iger came out and said, you know, forget that, whatever, don't worry about it. So yeah, preschool showed like a movie, and they're doing like a fundraiser, and it was like they're going to show a movie, and realize you need to actually go through Disney's copyright or Disney's licensing agreements. Even if you're a school, if you wanted to show like a movie in class from Disney, you'd have to go through them. But then Iger is like, this is too much nonsense. Let's go ahead and just forgive that fine. So they're okay. But I think Disney overall, I mean, if you talk about Disney, as far as what they've accomplished and what the kind of things that they've done, the company, not just the man himself has produced a lot of amazing concepts, you know, of film and even entertainment too. But yeah, as far as their copyright concerned, they're not really the bad guy. I think the funny thing about copyright, let's address this comment. Nate Dollars, the copyright system is extremely abusive on YouTube against small content creators and tutors. Its broken antique system needs to be monitored. Well, be careful there, because I agree with you. The copyright on YouTube is abusive. However, I don't think it's against small creators. Although it is kind of, because it is who controls the copyright. I think there's a lot of abuse on YouTube as far as copyright, but I think what you have to remember is that without copyright, that copyright is the friend of the small creator, because Disney doesn't need copyright as much as we need copyright from Disney. Because if I'll give you an example. Like, let's say I make some art. Let's say I do a drawing, and it's a really cool drawing. It's a really cool pattern. And somebody at Disney can say, wow, man, this guy I posted on Reddit, right? I post this image on Reddit of just this really cool design drawing, completely original, 100% my creation. Somebody at Disney says, oh, I like that. Let's use that as the background for a poster for the latest Marvel movie. And they just use it, boom. If I didn't have copyright, then this multi-million-dollar company could easily just come in and take my stuff and just put it out there, and then they can make millions, and I get nothing. I get zero, based on my work. That's what copyright protects. If we kill copyright, if we reduce copyright for the big players, we reduce it for the small guy. So the one very important thing about law is something called equal protection under the law. Big companies are just as protected as the small guys. Problem on YouTube, however, is that we've got big companies that basically have an inside door to YouTube, and they can push all kinds of terrible copyright allegations and crap on YouTube, and there's almost nothing we can do about it. It's a small creator. All you can do is fight it. Has anybody watched Tom Scott's YouTube video? YouTube copyright system isn't broken. I'm going to say something kind of mean. Don't trust Tom Scott on legal matters. Just don't. Like he had a video about the Hollywood sign, and it was unbelievably wrong. Well, not unbelievably. It was needlessly troubling. So so the Hollywood sign, which is why I'm not using the Hollywood sign behind me, it is under trademark. The Hollywood sign is a trademark. So you cannot if you opened a shoe store and you wanted like a Hollywood sign in your shoe store, they'd have a problem with that. They would come for it. They would come to you. Even if you use the Hollywood lettering and you put your like store, Filmmaker IQ store, you'd be in somewhat of a dangerous trouble. But if you just shot a picture of the Hollywood sign, that'd be completely fair use. So I actually emailed the people when Tom Scott's video on the Hollywood sign came out. I actually emailed the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce, which owns the trademark, the company, and I asked her the questions. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about the video?" It's like, "Yeah, it's a little bit. We're not as litigious and as awful as they make us out to be." So now I agree that the YouTube has a very big copyright issues, big abusive issues happen on YouTube. Agreed. However, we have to be careful, because you don't realize on the other hand, like, do you guys realize how many hours of video is being uploaded to YouTube every single second? Like every single second, there's like a 10,000 years or every day there's like 1,000 years of YouTube that gets uploaded to YouTube. So you can't monitor all of it. And what can we do about it? I don't know. And there's a lot of people that are literally violating copyright and completely violating copyright, like undeniably. So we can't let that happen, right? I don't know what to do about it. You got to figure out something to do. But yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, there's no. I don't see any way to fix copyright on YouTube unless you throw more money at it. I mean, hiring people, and that's tough. So. Yeah, Disney, The Lion King is Kimba the White Lion remake. Yeah. So, and I realize there's probably a little bit more. There's probably some more like little tiny differences, but I don't like to fall for the this is exactly like this other thing because Harry Potter is a Star Wars remake. There's so many. Everything's derivative of something else. So Momo says, I don't think copyright is the problem. A fair payment system that also benefits small creators is what we need. Copyright itself works fine. Yeah, I don't know what a fair payment system looks like on YouTube though. Like, we don't even know how much YouTube we know is we've been told that YouTube is in the negative. It's part of Alphabet's big giant conglomerate of different tech sector stuff, but we don't know how much YouTube actually makes, and it may not make anything at all. So are we on the hook for everybody? Let's see. Oh, Tom Scott was from the UK, area in the UK. Cool. And look, I think Tom Scott is a good guy. I think he's a good source. I just worry that sometimes internet personalities can be a little bit more snarky than they should be. I think Tom Scott's can kind of be a little like he thinks he knows more, or he's not willing to acknowledge the other side of the facts. Not to say that the YouTube video I thought was decent. I'm just so worried. I'm so worried about whenever I watch copyright stuff. I get very nervous because I don't think his stuff is always up and snuff. Whatever it is I'm trying to say. But Baboon says, I am not going to get into it because this is not the place for it, and that's why copyright is shit, because everything is derivative of something else. But that's not what copyright is, though. Copyright is not worried about ideas. In fact, that's a primary misunderstanding of copyright. Copyright is not the protection of ideas. So you can take ideas and you can redo them perfectly. I mean, how many? At one point, there was two movies that came out within like months of each other, where it was friends with benefits movies, where like there's a couple where two people were friends and they decided to sleep together, and then the romantic comedy comes out of that, right? Two movies. Ashton Kutcher was in one, and I forget the other one who was in the other one. But copyright does not protect ideas at all. So, at all, I would say it only expresses the precise expression of those ideas. So I think that's where it matters. That's what the key difference is too. I see a lot of YouTube videos of copyright characters in one video and in a virtual sandbox game called VR Chat. I am very pro copyright. Let me throw this other side of it. I'm very pro copyright. I'm also extremely pro fair use. I think you gotta have a fair use needs to be we need to shore up the fair use the strength of fair use, and maybe more legally define it better, and more it's getting there. I think it's definitely getting there. But I think, yeah, Operation Baboon says, I'm not talking about ideas. We live in the references, samples. Yeah, well, references, samples, and memes, I think are fair use. I think that's perfectly okay. It boils down to one simple thing. We are monkeys in shoes and we copy shit because that is how we learn and grow. Otherwise, we would all still have to figure out fire for ourselves. I agree with that. No, I totally agree. The thing is, though, if you derive an economy based on the creation of creative works, that you have to be able to protect that. You have to be able to protect that, or else you don't have that economy. And that's why not copyright isn't shit. So I'm gonna pick on you now. I'm gonna go. We agree on a lot of things, but this we do not agree at all on. I don't think copyright is shit. I think copyright is essential. So we would not be talking we would not have movies. We would not have even talking on stream without copyright. But I am definitely for fair use. So copyright to me is limited very, very much so to like literally, if I make a video, and I've had videos ripped off of my channel. Like they'll take my video and just repost it on YouTube. Like I had one video, and this is what pissed me off too. Is this subject? Did you get messages from copyright trolls in this subject? Oh, I'm not sure. You said Operation Movement says it should not be part of the capitalist economy. I don't know how to answer that, and otherwise I'm going to say that 24 shouldn't be the number either. It is. I mean, you can say it should not be, but that's great. That's a value statement on your part. I disagree. Because here's the thing with the cap. I mean, throw it another way. The capitalist society for arts allows us to be independent artists. Because before capitalist society, who were the artists? Who did they work for? They worked for the royalty. They worked for rich people. Like every artist before 1800 was basically had to have a patron who was either either a prince or a wealthy magistrate or whatever. There was no way to be an artist outside of that. Now there is, and you're selling your wares to the public. There actually is a market for art, whereas before it was really the domain of either the church or the state. So, Super Cartoonist, can we use your videos in YouTube poop videos? I think you have. I see a YouTube poop video is an example of fair use to me, because you are transforming my video. I have a problem if you take my video and post it online without any transformation to it. That's when we have a problem. We don't have a problem if you take my video and you take out a snippet and say, well, maybe if you did here's what John Hess thinks about 24 frames per second, and then you cut to a clip of mine. That's fair use. That's totally cool by me. That's my opinion. That's completely fair use. I don't forget what my point was. Sure, says the biggest issue with copyright is twofold. One is around transformative work, fair use, and fair dealing. Exactly, I agree with that. And the other is the duration of copyright. See, I think duration of copyright is a red herring. I think that is something that is a lot of ink is spilt on an issue that has almost zero bearing on the reality of the world. Like whether, I think we got into this another point, whether something is 30 years after death of the author or 70 years after death of the author, I don't think it matters at all in the grand scheme. Now I get that there are issues to dealing with orphan works that are problematic. So I agree that there needs to be something that deals with orphan works. If you can't find the author of a work and it is, they are dead or something happened, you just can't find, we don't know who owns this copyright, there should be something like, hey, that was an orphan work. There's nothing you can do about that. There should be something that ends that. But as far as copyright term duration, I don't think that's really an issue, because we talk about public domain. Public domain is all encompassing. It is larger. Public domain is longer than 30 years. 30 years is the scale of time as far as the artistic history of the world. 30 years is nothing. Who cares? 30 years. And then on top of that, I don't see how copyright length prevents any work from being utilized. Say there's a book written in, say it's a book that's available that won't go into public domain for another 10 years or so. Does it really hurt the world that we can't make a movie without paying royalties on that book for another 10 years? Does that really change the course of history? I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't think art should be a public good either. Baboon's talking about, I don't know if you're referencing that. What do you think about Kinsella's book Against Copyright? I have no idea what his book is. I would argue against it. I don't even know what you're assuming. You guys are assuming I've read all your references. I have not. You haven't read all my references either. So, all right, here we go. Oh, some more comments. Let's get through that. Let's go back in order here. Like everything else, copyright is great when used properly to protect individuals' created content, likelihood, and interest. But occasionally, individuals choose to weaponize it. I agree with that. You can't. The thing is, you can't throw out baby bathwater issue. You know. And the funny thing is, the irony is, I think you'll find that most of the people that weaponize copyright are the individuals. Like corporations can always be bought off. Right? Disney will always let you license their film if you just pay them money. You can always negotiate with corporations have no personal feelings. They have no feelings at all. So they will just, whatever, give us some money. But people, if you try to, like, what's her, like, Mary Poppins, dealing with P.L. Travers, tough to deal with her, It's hard to get her. So I think that's why I think the copyright is the popular discussion of copyright is almost all wrong. Almost all wrong. Operation says credit needs to be given, profits need to be shared, but otherwise, if you take my video and you go and make money off of it, and you give me a fair share from the profit, be my guest. Well, how about I take your video and I go make $1 million and I give you $5? That's fair to me. I'm the one. I have the channel. I have the views. I'm NBC. Okay, I have millions of homes that I broadcast to. All right. I think it's fair to give you $5, and I'll make $30,000 for the ads. But I think you deserve $5. I don't think that's right. That would not be fair. You say that's fair to me. Who's to say? I have to invest millions of dollars in infrastructure to get my broadcast signal to millions of homes. How much did you invest? Nothing. So I think it's totally fair that you should look. You should. I agree. You should get your fair share. I think that fair share is $5. But the $30,000, I gotta pay. I gotta pay my ad execs. I gotta pay all these people, dude. I got to pay my engineers to maintain my systems. I got a lot of expenses to take care of. But I hope you're seeing that there is a subjective nature when you say fair. What is fair? Well, I don't know what's fair. And more importantly, I think, going back to the libertarian argument, is it should be your decision. My body, my right. As some people are often say in the abortion debate, not that we're going to go talk about abortion all of a sudden, but your work, you should make the call. I should not decide. If you're saying that, well, let's see, if we cannot agree what is fair, then we invite a professional arbiter. I agree. Well, why should you have that agree? Why should you agree to that? I don't think that's fair. My point is that if you take yourself out of the equation of saying that anybody can share your stuff as long as you give you credit. Well, how do you know? And how do you can decide? Like, hey, I only used your little portion of. Let's say I use your theme song. I use the song of yours as some incidental music in a popular Seinfeld TV show. How can you figure out what that's worth? You can't. No arbiter can even figure that out. Look, I'm not saying it's easy to deal with assholes. I know. I'm just saying your solution is not going to work. Your solution is just dumb. It's wrong. You can't operate this. You can't operate in a world that we have with our the way we've commercialized art, and have your concept. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. I'm talking about how we should be and not how it is. That's foolish thinking. You can't think about how it should be. It's like thinking, well, I think we should all just be nice to each other and that we should never steal. That way we should never have a court system. You can't think that way, dude. That's just like that La La Land thinking. We need to fix the world. No. It's just dumb, dude. It's so your argument against copyright, that copyright is bullshit, means you believe in fairy tales, man. and we never evolve at all. Yeah, we evolved the copyright. That's how it works. Copyright the great thing about copyright is it gives you the power to decide. You have the power now to decide how you want your creation to be used. If you want to sell it for profit or you want to give it away for free. That's your decision. That's the wonderful thing about copyright. That's the big thing that switched over when we changed from copyright is the sole discretion of the government. That that you go to the government to register your copyright, and that is how you get copyright, is from the government. To now you have the copyright in your own power. Yeah, if people would have said that, we would still be sitting around in fucking caves. Bullshit. Copyright is a game of corporations. Again, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You are so deluded right now. You have no you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. It's not it is somewhat in ways, in terms of copyright is sort of the game of corporations. However, copyright protects you from the corporation. If it wasn't for copyright, you wouldn't have, the corporation would just steamroll you. Like I just did in my example where I said, I will take your stuff and I'll pay you $5 for it. If Disney wants to take your idea, you can go fuck yourself. I can sue. Believe it or not, that's why Disney doesn't take. That's why Disney doesn't. That's why any major producer will not read unsolicited scripts, because people will just claim that you stole their idea. But no, I mean, you're wrong about that. Disney gets sued all the time for copyright. There's all kinds of copyright stuff. Alan Jumbo copyrighted my name. You can't copyright a name. You can't copyright a title either, for that matter. Don't delete the stream. You make a lot of good points. I know. I don't talk much about 100% agree with John on this. I can't believe people think what was that? I can't believe people think the way they want, this way. Wow. 100% with John on this? Okay. Operation Baboon, you don't know that. They rarely ever lose. Sure they do. The thing is, though, Disney has to be very careful about how they handle things. Disney stole the posters for Solo from Hachim Baukhaus without any tribute or paying him a dime, the original artist. Then they need to be sued. Take him to suit. The thing is, like, Disney, man, if you had a legitimate lawsuit against Disney, who better to sue than Disney? They have so much money. You sue Disney. Disney's a prime target for suits. Why not? Someone made the point with Lion King earlier, because, well, that's not copyright though, because they're similar concepts. I'm not saying that's not what copyright is. Copyright doesn't cover ideas. Am I glowing today? Yeah, the lights are a little hard on me. I can copyright my content. How? Magellan Films, basically, whatever you create is automatically copyright protected. So you make a film. Copyrights exists at the moment of creation. You write a story, copyright moment of creation. Now you draw a circle on a piece of paper. There is limits on how much creativity. You have to actually put effort into it in order to get copyright protection. So copyright protection exists at the moment of creation. Now, if you want to register your copyright with your government, if you're in the United States, you go to the Library of Congress. Every state has their own registration process, and that adds an additional protection. Basically, it proves that you made your thing at that date, so that's how you would do if you wanted to register your copyright. The Fine Brothers copyright the word react. No, they didn't. Yeah, there's a lawsuit on that. They got slapped for that. Yes, they have more lawyers than anybody else, and they will probably settle with you, honestly. Not just concepts, but scene for scene, shot for shot. That's plagiarism. Plagiarism is not copyright infringement. Plagiarism is something different. So plagiarism is legal. You can plagiarize. That's not copyright infringement, though. I should copyright my face because I look so damn fine today. It's not. You can't copyright your face. The best person to copyright strike is PewDiePie. You will always win. Oh, Magellan Films from China. I don't know how China works on copyright issues. So yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I love getting arguments with folks that think they know anything about how the world works, and they say that copyright is bullshit. It's like, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. If you think copyright is bullshit, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pick on you. I'm gonna beat you shit out of you for that, dude. If your film is scene for scene, my film is not. If I shot my own film, and if I'm not using your exact words, scene for scene, sure it is. Copyright. That's copyright. That's not copyright infringement. If that's basically homaging. That's what Quentin Tarantino does. Yeah, no, like seriously, like that's the thing. If I draw the line too, like if I take your script, okay, that is copyright infringement. If I take your script word for word, and it needs to be almost word for word, that would be infringement. If I have a scene where I've got a girl and breaking up with a guy, and they're in a diner, that's not infringement at all. But it wasn't what Disney did, though. It wasn't word for word. It wasn't scene for scene. It wasn't even concept for concept. I mean, it was some broad strokes. Maybe some finer details. I don't think it's that level. Because if it was, they would have been sued. I mean, or they probably did a settlement, so they wouldn't go that far. Okay, so fair is a bad term, but having SME take 100% of the YouTube ad revenue on my music video I made for a song of them doesn't sound fair, even subjective term. I don't know. The question about that is, did they? You got to also ask yourself, did they license you to make that music video for them? If you just made a music video for using their song, I get it too. You should probably have a little bit of a slice of the pie, but then again, you didn't ask them for their song, so I don't know how you would make that. Now, copywriting a face. Okay, let's talk about that for a little second. There is something called right to publicity, right to privacy, stuff like that. So in that sense, you can right to likeness. So if like YouTube said tomorrow they're going to run buses, they're going to have buses in LA with my face on it saying, watch YouTube, watch John Hess on YouTube. Yeah, that'd be a problem. And I could probably get something out of that. So Operation Baboose is so naive. I think you're the one. I think you're the naive one, dude. I think you are so naive to think that copyright doesn't protect you from corporations, because it does. I think you're biting into the. I love picking on you because we've been in agreement so far, and now we found one that I love to pick on because I know the subject matter way more than you do. That you don't have any idea what you're talking about if you think copyright is bullshit. Like, you should just get off of. You should just stop. If you make films, just give that up, because don't even bother. That's so dumb. I know. I'm being picky. I'm being mean to copyright baboon. I'm being copyright baboon. I'm not wrong on this. You know why I'm not wrong on this? Because this is how the world works. Like, it's the same argument I have with people that are anti 24 frames a second. You know how I know I'm right? Because I'm describing the world. I'm describing how the legal system works. You're describing a fantasy. You're describing, like, I wish that everybody would just. I wish that big corporations who would see my content and use my stuff would just give me a fair share. Yeah, right, buddy. You're the one that's naive if you think that you're going to get fair dealing from these corporations that without copyright protection. You would love to have free advertising from Google. Well, I'd love to have free advertising, but like, what does that mean? Does that mean that Google makes $1 million and I get nothing? That's not fair. That's not free. It's Americanism to think you can sue your way out of everything. It's not Americanism. It's more like I have to be able to control what I create. And lawsuits are a way of basically kind of settling issues. Like, if I couldn't sue, that's a problem. Like, I know we get into the legal philosophy of why corporations are people, because you need to be able to sue corporations, because corporations need to be able to be punished in some way. And if they're not people, you can't punish them necessarily in the same legal manner that if they're not people. And this is, you need to actually get into like legal concept, the legal construct of a personhood. Be able to treat a corporation as a person that has as a legal person that can be held liable, basically. So if you don't have, it's not the matter that you can sue. Suing is a way of getting through it. Suing isn't a way of getting redress for everything. Suing is a way of basically forcing some sort of legal justice, I guess. It is a form of justice. It really is. It's a legal. It's a business justice. What do they call it? Tort. Business torts. Is a legal justice without having criminal justice. Anyhow. John, you're an oracle. True. Okay. I'm fine with heated debate on John. I think but if you're a dick, play bully and troll and get some cheap sympathy points, you can fuck off. I don't know. Yeah, don't pick on Baboon. He's a good guy. We can have this. We can have a heated discussion. I think the copyright system is broken because its overwhelming profit margins are made by the big companies, while the artists get scraps and even nothing. It would change. The problem with that is, man, like without copyright, the artists would get less. The copyright protects the artists from the big companies. Like that's the thing that you guys don't get. Is you guys can fight. I don't care. Fuck it. Copyright. We talk so much about when copyright goes wrong, because we never talk about when copyright goes right, because it does go right most of the time. It's those little tiny issues that have an issue. Suing is usually a waste of time, John. Yeah, I agree with that. But the reason why I say suing is you need to have some sort of legal redress, legal justice, I guess. If somebody harms you, but not in a way that's criminal, you need to be able to sue in order to find some sort of redress for that. And hopefully, most times, honestly, we can, most of the time, it would be preferable if it doesn't actually go to court, and if it actually does become it's arbitrated, if it's, settlements are reached. If I can be a smartass here, Mobo says, if I can be a smartass here for a second. 1,000 years ago, the world was kill or be killed, and that was the accurate description of the world. But that's different today. Yeah, it's sue or be sued. Yeah. Let's see. Fair use has all but dies on YouTube. I don't know. There's still some fair use. I think it's starting to settle down a little bit as far as fair use. Copyright is about ownership, and ownership is a question of wealth, therefore inherently unequal. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like you're basically saying all blondes, all Janes or all blondes have fun. Therefore, Jane is blonde. Therefore, Jane has fun. Like copyright is about ownership. Ownership is a question of wealth. What? No. Like copyright is a question of creation. Like if you write a book, you own that copyright. It has nothing to do with wealth. So yeah, I don't know. Ownership of ideas is different than monetary, but it's not ownership of ideas. It's ownership of expression of ideas. That's the problem. We're missing there. We're missing the component there. There's not an ownership of ideas. There's not an question of ideas. Nadolis, I speak only from perspective because content creator have to waiver my financial rights. If I disagree with the terms, they hire someone else. Yeah. If you're a content creator, if you want to make something for another company, yeah, sure. If you're gonna have to waive your financial rights, but that's the negotiating table, man. If you had more power to negotiate, you could negotiate your own terms, and then of course they're paying you, so you're getting something else out of it too. You guys are fighting over each other. Making the films can you copyright my content made in China? I don't know how it works in China. You guys are not part of the Berne Convention and everything else, so I don't quite know how it works in China. You have to look it up. Good night, Endo. Don't turn into reductive nonsense. I am talking about basic principle of economy in our world. Copyright is commodity. No, you're the one that's reductive nonsense. Like you're the one that literally said that copyright is ownership is wealth. So you've got reductive nonsense already. So you can't accuse me of being reductive nonsense. You started that game. Does my new set infringe on David Letterman's late night copyright? I don't think he has this. He's not based. Well, David Letterman is not based in L.A. and that is L.A. And I got that from a stock company, so I paid for the rights for that image. Copyright deals with these problems by providing laws to control ownership and distribution of creative and expressive works. Yeah, I would say that. Because it is a commodity and not a good of trade. But the thing is, it's not a commodity. We're speaking specifics. Commodities, a Harry Potter book is not the same as a Twilight book. They're not commodities. Where does copyright end and fair use begin? I say fair use begins when it is transformative, when it is no longer. So like literally, if I'm doing a review of your book, that's perfectly fair use, and I can use chunks of it as long as I'm not reprinting the whole book. Like copyright ends or fair use ends when you're. There's actually if you actually look up, there's 4 elements of fair use that kind of explain to you where that line is drawn. Oh, you're saying that thus more accessible to people of wealth? Maybe. The wealthy have more control over culture and art. Well, is that first of all, is that true? Or is it? I mean, I'm not particularly wealthy, and you were on here. Here I am on YouTube. I mean, sure. If we got rid of if we got rid of copyright, wouldn't that mean that they would be more in control over culture and art because they would basically hold all the reins? Essentially, I mean, look at the history of the world. Look at did in the 1500s did we have mass entertainment? Do we have people that would go on there and make their own stuff and make a living that way? Or are all artists in service of the church and the state? Because that's what it was. People have made billions on these franchises, and IP is not a commodity. IP is not a commodity. Commodities are products that have equal quality among, like a pencil is a commodity, gold is a commodity, orange juice is a commodity. I know I'm being specific here because if we're going to have this discussion about economics, we need to actually have precise language here. Like IP is not a commodity. It is not a commodity. It's by definition not a commodity. I don't know why he's so. I don't know why he's being so dumb. Operation Baboon, you're getting a couple people. Either they're trying to side with me and trying to buy points with me, or they're. I didn't finish. But where does copyright and fair use begin? Nintendo, we don't do that here. Yeah, well, gaming is, that's one of the things where it is in a weird. You're in a weird fringe of copyright, and I support people that want to stream games because it's kind of the culture to stream games, and I don't think that. And I think most gaming companies realize that, hey, people streaming games is good for us. We want people to watch other people play games because maybe they'll buy our games. That's kind of a good thing, and ultimately that serves the market. And that's preferable to just hiding our IP. Like, oh, you can't stream our games and all that kind of stuff. So Nintendo, you're shooting yourself in the foot, I think, with that. I don't, that's a shame. But. Yeah, so like I said, I'm very pro fair use. I'm very, very pro fair use, but I'm very, very pro copyright. Like you cannot get rid of copyright because yes, theater was also funded by the wealthy. I mean, there was, I guess, there was like like parlor stuff. Like you had some wandering minstrels, I guess. Yeah, copyright is like democracy isn't perfect, but what do we replace it with? That's kind of true. You gotta. And the problem with copyright is it absolutely has to be retro. It has to be slower than culture, because you can't come up with a copyright system that thinks ahead of culture. You know, the internet comes along and adjusts how copyright works. Like copyright, mass printing novels changed the way we thought about copyright. So you know, movies were not copyright protected for a long time, right? Well, actually, no, they were. It's a freedom of speech issue, commercial speech. Never mind. But you had radio recordings also needed time to get copyright. Radio recordings is a weird thing of copyright. That has to be sorted out. We'll have to figure that out. Sooner or later, that's got to be figured out. But anyhow, so copyright law can't be ahead of culture. Culture is always going to be ahead of copyright. So that's always giving that you need to pull the laws to it. So there's going to be that issue too. So a commodity does not need to be a physical product. I know, but a commodity needs to be uniform. And IPs, like individual IPs, are not commodities. Harry Potter is not the same as Twilight. Like you cannot get a Harry Potter book and say, well, I really wanted a Star Wars I wanted Star Wars, but I got Harry Potter. But that's okay. It's the same thing. That's the definition of a commodity. No, it's not. Commodity is not a useful, valuable thing. It's commodity is something that is uniform, and a product that is uniform. And IPs are not uniform. They're necessarily not commodities. Buy Dogecoin. I'm so out of the cryptocurrency. I didn't even thought about it. I mean, probably should get involved with something, but I don't trust that. Unless we were farmers talking about agriculture careers. No, we're talking about economics and law, and that's what commodity means. Look it up, you fool. I'm sorry. I'm tired of arguing with this. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. A commodity is not... IPs are not commodities. Commodities are uniform products that can be substituted for one for another. I don't care what the Latin roots of commodity. All right, fucking fine. All right. Okay, we'll get 1 second here. I'll look up commodity. Commodity. Raw material, primary agricultural product that being bought and sold, such as copper or coffee, or commodities such as copper or coffee. Now that we're talking, one definition is useful things such as water or time. Water is a precious commodity. However, let's look at the economic definition. So in economics, commodity is defined as a tangible good that can be bought or sold in exchange for products of similar value. Natural resources, oil, basic foods, corn are two types of commodities. That's from thoughtco.com. Like other classes of assets, such as stocks, commodities have value. It can be traded on open markets. And like other assets, commodities can fluctuate in price according to supply and demand. Harry Potter is not, first of all, it's not a tangible good. Therefore, not a commodity. All right. I know. IPs do not count. No, they don't. Operation Baboon. Dude, IPs are not commodities. They're not commodities. They're not a product. They're not traded. You can't trade a Harry Potter for a Star Wars. It doesn't work, dude. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. I'm having a sense of humor about it, but no, you're so blindly wrong. You're so fucking wrong. You're so wrong that you're on thin ice with me now. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. No, you can't. He says for fucking dollars you can. No, that's not what the fuck. You don't know what the. You're just like. You're just stupid fuck. You're just a stupid fuck. I'm sorry, Baboon. You have no fucking. trading, commodities trading is like, I'm going to give trade. All right, let's go. I know you got a point. I'll give you a point. In economics, commodity processes the following two properties. First is that usually produced or sold by many different companies and manufacturers. So first of all, a commodity is, Star Wars is not a commodity because it's not produced by many different companies or manufacturers. It is sold by, it is one particular product, it is a property of one person. That was George Lucas at the time. Second, it is uniform in quality between companies that produce and sell it. So there are no multiple companies selling Star Wars because there are no multiple companies selling Star Wars, and they're not of the same uniform quality. One cannot tell the difference between, I'm quoting here from the site again, one cannot tell the difference between one firm's goods and another's. Uniformity is referred to as fungibility. Raw materials such as coal, gold, zinc are examples of commodities that are produced and graded according to uniform industry standards, making them easy to trade. And they're talking about trading as in like, I'm buying 1 unit of coal, you can buy it from many manufacturers. I'm buying 1 box of pencils. Levi's jeans, here's an example. Levi's jeans would not be considered a commodity. However, clothing, while something everyone uses, is considered finished product and not base material. Economists call this product differentiation. Again, product differentiation, Star Wars, Harry Potter, these are not commodities, all right? So if you want to continue down the line of commodity, then you don't have any fucking clue what you're talking about. Anyhow, look up the word commodity. I mean, just go back and get some basic fucking economics education, dude. It's just, it's tiresome. Arguing with people. Are stocks commodities? In a colloquial term, you're going to call those commodities, yes. All right, fucking A. You're gone, baboon. Just annoying the fuck out of me. I just fucking idiot. All right. You're gone. Yeah, I'm just, sorry, I don't have patience for fucking idiots like that. Like, you want to argue, hey, it's just, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of that fucking idiot. Anyhow, let's see. You're gone. Yeah, I know. Making me drop F-bombs. Calm me down, man. Calm me down. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. Now, like, if we're going to get, like, don't argue. Never argue words that are like, oh, it's a commodity. Never argue words used colloquially. And never argue colloquially words because it's like, you just don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So Operation Baboon has been timed out, and I just hiding his ass because it's like he doesn't know what. If you say copyright is bullshit and you're a filmmaker, you deserve to have everything taken away from you. You're a moron. Don't. Like, I understand that copyright has its issues, and we believe me, we can all discuss it to the day the cows come home. And I agree with you. But geez, man, if you don't believe in copyright and you're an artist or creative, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. In Star Wars, yes, blue milk would be a commodity. Oh God. Let's see. LOL wasn't the guy with the soldier against carnies. The carnies. The carnies. Was he the carnies script last week? Well, there you go. Being stressed makes me hot. Yeah, I'm sweating. That's because I'm just all the lights and all that shit. Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah, it's like I learned in economics what a commodity was, right? And Star Wars is not a commodity. Like, we need to pause and like understand what commodities are. Anyhow, I will now be debating that in my head for the next day or so because it'll be bugging me. Okay, so here's interesting. I thought you could parody something and not violate copyright. If so, you can keep the profit from the parody, or can the original content creator still take? Yes, you can. Parody is not is fair use. Now, the interesting thing about parody Did you guys know the difference between parody and satire? Let the comment take some time to figure that out. The difference in parody and satire is that parody is you're taking something and you're remaking it, you're violating its copyright, but you're making a comment about that product. So if I make a Harry Potter parody, I'd be taking Harry Potter and I'd be making him I'd be making fun of the wizarding world and how silly the wizarding world is. That's a parody because I'm commenting on the topic. A satire is if I take a Harry Potter character and I use it and I put him in a situation that isn't necessarily commenting on the actual product. So I'm making let's say if I take a Harry Potter video, or I make Harry Potter and I'm using Harry Potter to make fun of, let's say, car ads, like television car ads. That would be a satire. And I may be slightly wrong on that, so don't use my answer here to fill out your legal homework. but to go and look it up if you're interested. The difference between satire and parody. And parody is fair use. Satire is not fair use. So that makes it a very interesting situation difference. Oh, Super Cartoons, you're from Ohio. Cool. All right. By the way, I'm not Operation Baboon. I just made a spin-off of this name to prove that copyright exists. Mission Monkey. Oh. See, the thing is, so Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars, or satire. No, Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars, but also realize Spaceballs didn't use any of the characters from Star Wars. So parody, when we're talking about fair use, though, would be using actual Luke Skywalker. You would actually name Luke Skywalker, which makes parody kind of very, very dangerous, right? Like you can do it. So Spaceballs isn't really. Oh, now my signal just dropped out completely. There it goes. Oh my God. Anyhow, so Spaceballs, again, I'm not totally read up on this, so I'm just kind of feeling my way through it, right? But Spaceballs is sort of, colloquially, it is a parody of Star Wars, but it's not legally a parody because it's not in danger of stealing Star Wars material. So anyhow. Oh, you're talking about my weather since you mentioned hot you were. I'm not hot. I'm actually kind of cold. My fingers are kind of freezing. Baboon is taking over my systems. Amen. If I remake Harry Potter, but the main character is Luke Skywalker, that would be satire, I think. That wouldn't be parody because now you're satirizing. But again, I'm not a lawyer on this, but there is a legal difference, and it's very interesting. So Mel Brooks didn't have to pay Lucas. No, Mel Brooks didn't have to pay Lucas anything. You can make parodies. I made a Titanic parody when I was a kid. That's the thing. The other side of copyright that I concern myself is people think that copyright is way more powerful than it is. It's not as powerful as you think, and it's not like I invented the mouse. I made a little circle on the mouse, therefore I copyrighted that. That's not how copyright works. Copyright's very limited. It's very limited, and people don't realize that. There's a whole story about what happened. I know we're talking long about copyright, but this is my favorite topic, so what the hell we're going to go for it. The Katy Perry song, there's been a couple of them, but the last one where it was there's this one Christian rap artist that sued Katy Perry because of this 8-note progression. And then every single music expert on YouTube, if you watch Adam Neely and Rick Beato, who I follow those guys a lot. I like their stuff. They know way more about music than I do, way more. But everybody on the same boat that thought that Katy Perry lawsuit was absolutely ridiculous. That there's no way that was stolen from that other thing. And the first court said, yeah, no, that was stolen, and Katy Perry needs to pay. But it was repealed. It was repealed, and it was beaten down because it was a bullshit lawsuit. It was totally nonsense. So that's not a copyright violation. Katy Perry can do the same similar four notes, even though one note was different. That's not what copyright protects. Copyright protects the expressed form of the idea, not the idea. You can have the idea, you can have similar ideas. The expression. So for me, if you took my movie and you had the same movie, but it was the same overall structure, totally fine. Like even if you copied kind of the way the scene worked, but you replaced the script, totally fine. If you took the same ideas for the shots, but you shot them yourself, totally fine. Like I think for me, copyright needs to be so narrow that it's only about you taking what I made and just flat out copying it. That's when we have a problem. Well, if you take what I made and then flat out copied it, that's what I want to protect. But if you took what I made, you got inspired by it, and you made something similar but not exactly the same, and I mean almost precisely exactly the same. I mean, like literally tracing over my stuff. If you just reshot it and did your own version, different words, totally cool with me. Paul Smith says, I watched Rick Beato too. I haven't kept up too much, but I do occasionally catch him. I watch a lot of Neely, Adam Neely, because I do enjoy his stuff. He's just too much a music nerd for me. I hang out with music nerds, but man, I don't like odd meter. I just don't like it. But I respect the guys, man. They know so much. Speaking of Star Wars, I feel John Williams violated copyright with the soundtrack scores, but Gustav Holst was dead. Well, so that's not copyright. Maybe other more modern composers. But the thing is, like, Gustav Holst never wrote dun da da dun dun ba da da dun. He never wrote that. He stole the ideas, so that's okay. Steal ideas. Ideas are totally fair to steal. Ideas are completely fair to steal. Everybody needs to. Everything needs to. All the ideas stolen. Steal all the ideas. Just don't steal the product of the idea. That's where I draw the line. If I made a movie about guys that are fast and angry and called it Fast and Furious, would that be copyright? It would not be copyright. That would roll into a trademark issue. Because Fast and Furious is no longer a single movie. It's a franchise of movies. There's Fast and Furious, all kinds of stuff. So what you would run into is basically, does your Fast and Furious lead the market to be confused about the nature of your product? And that's where it's not a copyright issue, it's a trademark. It becomes a trademark issue. So if you went to a Redbox and you saw Fast and Furious 7, or your movie Fast and Furious, and it's got a picture of a guy with a car and he's angry, you'd be like, which one do I, well, I guess I'll pick that one. Or if you send your grandma, she doesn't know any better. It's like, oh, it's got a bald man on it, but it's, and she just picks the other Fast and Furious. That's a marketplace confusion. That's a trademark issue. So Adam Neely is if you haven't heard of Adam Neely, he's a bass player. He did a whole thing about the lick, the jazz lick. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-da. Which I don't know how to. I'm a fantastic sight reader as a trumpet player. I can play almost anything you put in front of me if it's within my wheelhouse of being able to perform on the instrument. But I cannot. I couldn't play the lick for the life of me. JK says plagiarism is closer to copyright. Plagiarism, it's not copyright though. It's not quite. Like you can plagiarize something, but not actually infringe its copyright. There is a separate difference, and plagiarism is also not a legal definition, a legal issue. Yeah, steal this book. It's not stealing if you're allowed to take it, so don't steal. What if you steal the copyright of Miles Davis, and then when the family sue you, just say, "So what?" Da, da, da. No, that's something else. So what? Boom, 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 boom. You don't want me to sing. So what? So what do you think of Death Wish movies with Charles? I haven't seen the Death Wish movies. I should just get around to watching them. Hey, we're gonna talk about tech again. You got a mirrorless camera, 4K 10-bit. Then Apple comes out with an iPhone 12. Does anyone have mirrorless 35mm? Don't worry about the iPhones taking over DSLRs, because iPhone cameras and cell phone cameras, the sensors are just too small. They're not going to be comparable to a large camera. Just not the same. Long Cool Woman was not a copy of CCR song, but the Holies pegged the style sound so well, CCR sued them. Amusingly, most people think that Long Cool Woman was a CCR song. There are a couple songs like that. One of my favorite shows is Peep Show on the ITV or whatever the British people have. I don't know what the name of the channel. But their song is Flagpole Sitta. Flagpoles. Paranoia, everybody's out to get me. And say you never met me. That song, if you go online, look it up, people think it's by Green Day. It's not by Green Day, but everybody thinks it's by Green Day because it's got that same flavor to it. Favorite Dirty Harry quote? Well, I don't know one. Do you feel lucky? A good example is how many movies are about Flight 93 were made with similar titles. Yeah, it's a real. So I got trouble again, like I said, I'm pro copyright, but I'm very narrow in how I approach copyright. It's literally you have to take something and copy it and then steal it from. I don't think any ideas like Flight 93 is a real thing that happened. You can make a movie. How many movies were made about the Titanic sinking? How many movies were made about the Battle of the Bulge, the D-Day? How many movies can you make about that? I got in trouble. Like the author of the book, I made the William Fox video about history of William Fox. I used this book this lady wrote, and it was a fantastic book, very well detailed. I mean, way more detailed than anything out there. So I used a lot of the details about the history of William Fox, and then I wrote it, and I did it in my own, film noir voice. And she got pissed off at me and said, "I need to file the DMCA to take me down because I used the history in her book, even though I completely changed the details, I completely changed the voice. I didn't copy a single word out of it. I just changed." I made it a film noir. I took chapters and reduced them down to like a few sentences and stuff like that. So, that to me is perfectly okay because you're just taking the ideas, and history is ideas, and you're redoing it in your own flavor. So anyhow, but nothing came of that. The author got me taken down on Patreon. Took down that one post on Patreon, which okay. And the Patreon, and then I filed a recourse on that, and then it went away, and that's all I heard of it. And now I don't feel bad. I was ready to go to court with that one. You want to sue me? Go ahead. Let's go. Because if I can't make a video based on the history in your book, then we got a problem here. Titanic is mostly a remake of Night to Remember. It might be. I don't remember that movie. Soon you're going to have a slow mode when people come into chat. Well, I don't know, maybe. If people argue with me about what a commodity is, God. Oh, Stranger Sound. My main issue is when a video gets flagged for partial song in the background. That's not. Yeah, I agree. But that is also a that is a algorithm problem because you have millions and millions of videos coming through YouTube every single day. How are you going to police that? You can't. It's just impossible. So you have to have the computers figure it out, and the computers make mistakes. And the worst part, okay, I tell the story once in a while. Oh, by the way, real quick, I just want to get to it. Yes, Sherry Lansing, I love her. She is she is a hero of mine. Anyhow, Sherry Lansing, love you, babe. If you're watching, I doubt you are. You have better things to do with your life. But so story of mine is I did a video on the history of horror, and I used a clip from The Shining, and that got dinged from The Shining. I'm like, oh shit, well, the guys that produced The Shining now are complaining that my video used The Shining. No. The video got flagged because some record company in Ireland had this song where literally it was a rap song that had nothing to do with The Shining, but the very end they tacked on like the scene from The Shining that I used. They just the audio part of The Shining. So that they basically hit every single video that used The Shining. Like, can you believe that? Like every single video out there, like all the legit reviews of The Shining, everything that was fair use, right? The movieclips.com, all those guys, everyone got hit because this song slapped this Shining thing at the end of their song that had nothing to do with the song. That is a dirty game. That should have been. I haven't been getting those lately, so maybe they figured that out. Maybe they figured how to kill that thing. But yeah, stop with the unskippable ads. I hate those too. I'm trying. I got to make money. I'm not the one that puts there. I find it interesting that you can release a cover of a song, but if you change a word, then it's illegal. Yeah, covers are interesting because on YouTube you can get by with a cover. You change a word, yeah, because yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Be careful. It's not to say it's illegal. It's just it's against the rights. I get that. That is weird. That is weird. I'll give you that. That's a weird one. All right. If I shoot 4K 10-bit 24, how do I edit when the files are 30 gigs each or more? You have to leave the files in one place and extend and make proxies for editing. Yeah, proxies are your secret. So we're going back to the old days. My phone's going crazy. We're going back to the old days of proxies and offline editing. And then we go into online for the final release. If my Sony Ericsson has a 70 mega chode 27-hour FPS lens, okay, yeah, it's good enough to make it cinema. Hey, you know what? They made Blair Witch Project got into cinemas. So anybody can make it a cinema. Yeah, so they stole a sample and get you flagged. Yeah, so either they stole it or they licensed it. They could have licensed it, but I doubt it. I bet you they just slapped it on there so they could basically flag every other person that did a video with The Shining in it. Think of all the money. And even if like they get challenged on like half of them, if the other half don't challenge it and they get like secretly getting money on all that, it's a racket, man. That's bullshit. I agree with you there. That's copyright abuse. Totally. If you want to come to Ireland and beat those guys, I have a spare room. Okay, we'll go. I'll be over there. Linus did a video on auto flag and claim strikes and how it disputes false positives helps train. How disputing false positives helps train you. Good. I feel like I'm getting fewer and fewer false positives. Maybe that's because I've been fighting every one of them. Use Brave browser. You can pay John directly. Oh, you can try Patreon. Patreon.com/filmmakeriq. I think it's one of those. Or buy a T-shirt. That works too. I gotta make some more T-shirt designs. I haven't add to the other things I gotta do, like finish the set. Movie samples make great transitions, so I get why they did it. Well, yeah, I don't know. It seems so dirty. Movie Nurse says Sherry's married to William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist in French. Yeah, and she's also gorgeous and probably just so she's smart. She's just powerful. I'm not trying to gain woke points here, but she is sexy as hell because she first woman head of a studio. The lady bank. She was behind the Titanic deal. I mean, the lady is just. I'm attracted to powerful, smart women. Like if you guys watch The Expanse, it just wrapped up the 5th season. Like Ava Savala, the lady that plays her, Arush something or other. She's an Iranian actress. Sexy as hell, man. I can see why Amos is like, yeah, Chrissy's my favorite. She's like, because Amos is the engineer guy, but he's got to rough around the edges. He talks, and then Avasala is the basically the head of the United Nations, which runs all of Earth. But her name is Christina Avasala, and he calls her Chrissy. He's like, don't call me Chrissy. I'm not one of your strippers. He's like, well, why can't you be? Okay, D.A. Shorey says, if some of the William Fox book's history is intentionally wrong as a trap, then you can use the details bits in your video. That could be a protective trick, so maybe you breach. No. That actually came out as there's actually a lawsuit that I actually found out even if you base your work on somebody else's history, and if they're saying that whatever history they're giving and there's whatever they're passing off, and if you repeat their history, you're not violating their copyright as long as you're putting it in your own words. Because again, it's the idea divide, even if it's false information. Because first of all, how do I know if it's false or true? And secondly, it is an idea. Like let's say William Fox owned a purple puppy, and that was in the book. Oh, okay. And I'll tell you, well, listen, dames, here tell that Peter William Fox had himself a purple puppy. So even though the book said it, it's an idea. Now, if I say it and reword it in my own words, it's my expression of that idea. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. Like, I could even go into like if I were to do a history of Harry Potter's life, I'm going to give you a biography of Harry Potter's life. That wouldn't be that would be fair use, because even Harry Potter didn't exist. It's not true. But it's still an idea thing. It's an idea expression divide. And that's actually been shown in the court, because some court actually, that particular point came up in a court case where a documentary basically said, hey, look, we made this mistake in the book and it appears in this movie, therefore it's a copyright violation. And the judge said, nope, that's not a copyright, because it's an idea expression divide. How much of the stream is copyrighted? If so, is chat copyrighted? Well, that's a good question. That's now we're in the fringes of the stream itself is copyrighted by me, so I own the copyright of the stream. The chat is, I guess, imagine it would probably be your guys' copyright. But we are on the fringes, and the question would be, if I were to take your chat or whatever, what value would you lose because of if copyright? If you were to take my stream, what value would I lose? That kind of thing. But here's the bottom line. Hey guys, you can take anything of mine and remix it and reuse it. You can make my face YouTube poop. You have my blessing and my encouragement. You can take chunks of my video. You can cut out parts and put them up. And as long as you maybe talk about it and say, hey, here's a guy that I think is cool, or here's a guy I think his face is fat and funky looking. He has no idea what a commodity is. He's an idiot. He's a moron. And here's what he's talking about it. I encourage you, go ahead and please do that. You have every right to do it. I will not fight you on copyright. I might fight you on other reasons. But don't take my videos and just post them up somewhere. That's not right. That's not right. I've even allowed actually people taking my videos and done like Russian translations and put like Russian subtitles. I'll allow that. But anyhow. Oh my God, 3 hours I've been on. Pedro says, I'm reading something about Columbo, those traps. A guy wrote a trivia about his first name and then made up the rest he mentioned and sued while using a fake name. You got to look a little bit closer on that. Oh, I was at 60 frames for 2 seconds. Yeah, my stream is weird today. I don't know. Filmmaker, please, less legal stuff. Legal stuff is important, though. I dare say there is something in YouTube's TNC which covers comments and live chat and how they may be used. I'm sure there is. They've thought of, lawyers have gone through everything. It's one of those fringe things, How if I take your video and make it 60 frames per second? I will hate you till the end of the earth. But I would not like it. But it'd be how transformative you make it. Don't make my videos 60 frames a second. Whatever. Anyhow. Well, it is 7:22, guys. I've been on for 3 hours and 2 minutes. And I have been, I've gone through a range of emotions from very salty to being pissed off to arguing what commodity meant, of all things. So I hope you enjoyed seeing me in my studio here for the first time. And check it out. We'll be back next week. And I will be yelling at more people about copyright. Put some music back on. And we'll, let's see, I gotta put it back on. There we go. I can't hear it. All right, guys, we will talk to you guys later, and I'll hopefully figure out my stream for next time. Make it better. Go watch some American Horror Story, Adrian. Told you last week you were going to make it an hour. No. Go to sleep. Go to work, man. Jeez, what are you guys doing? All right, I am going out. See you later.